To How to Trade, formerly known as That Midday Show. That is your girl, the crypto queen, Satan. What a time to have you around.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for
Sharif.
having me. Yes, Sharif.
Hey, all right.
Pump it up for Sharif, guys. Pump it up for Sharif. Let's go.
No, I'm hitting the field for that. Right? I'm just joking. Self-deprecating. What's my man, Adam DeLuce? Shout out to Seth and the OG Darwin. Open the door, says Darwin. We all know what that is alluding to. Shout out to him, one of the OGs in the chat. We also have Kalua. We got Oxlong and Pitchbull. Even Mark Susie's joining us today. Shout out to Ronaldo and a random Samaritan. I like that. Andrew Chow, Dustin B, Charlie Young, Satea. We got T-Money. We got El Sol. We got Rogelio, Concepcion, and Jeremy Newman as well. Shout out to Hey Davis. Hey, brother, back to you, my man. Daryl Finch and BGZ. Mary L. We got Corey Pratt, as well as Seawave. Julio Santiago as well. And Oliver Costaros. Redna. We got TX Housecat and Lewis, Marius Lyman, Jacoby Waters, ABF, and it would not be, Sate, I've said this before, I will say it again, it is not a trading day unless Big Asian is in the chat.
Okay, so shout out to him. Big Asian, let's go. We got Donkey Trader, Miss A, Vulcan, Car James. Shout out to you guys. Thank you for coming, y'all. We love to see you guys here. We love to have you in the chat. And obviously, tell us the tickers that you're looking at because we are going to fill them in and we are going to cover them today. So guys, tell us what you want to see. Tell us what you want to hear.
Yeah, so we actually started a new way of voting yesterday. So we're going to throw up like 4 tickers. The first half of the show, we'll take the top 3 from those, and then we'll throw up another 4. And we'll take the top 2 from those in the second half of the show. So I'll send those to Ram and the Chilean Nightmare in a hot second. But we'll just start off by checking. Do you want to cover anything before we
No, I'll let you go into the lesson.
All right, let's do it. We're talking about the weighted moving average today, a bit of a derivative from the regular moving averages. So let's talk a little bit about that and some advantages to using it. As we always do, let's start very basic, introduce the subject matter. The weighted moving average, WMA for short, is a technical analysis tool, obviously. It's assigning, though, different weights to data points within a specific period. So it'll get more clear in a second. So unlike, though, like the simple moving average, which gives equal weight to each data point, we talked about that ad nauseum the last couple of days, and the exponential moving average, which gives more weight to recent data points, the WMA, the weighted moving average, allows for custom weighting of those data points. So it's a very, customizable, tailored to your trading style. We'll talk about how to do exactly that. So how does the WMA work from a very, kind of high level? It calculates the average by multiplying each price by its corresponding weight, summing the results, and then dividing the sum by its weights. So the weights, again, are incumbent upon you to assign. So it's going to be a bit more for the experienced or, let's say, intermediate and up traders, because you got to know exactly why you're assigning those weights to it and why and in what environments it makes sense and it doesn't. So the higher weights are assigned to more recent data points, a little bit like the exponential moving average in that regard, giving them, the recent data points, that is, giving them greater influence on the overall average. And this is kind of how it looks like. Obviously, it's going to look like a line, just like your simple and exponential moving averages, but it is more sensitive and follows usually the price a bit more closely if you assign the correct weights in the correct environment. And this is kind of what it looks like over here. It's more sensitive to the price turning up, and it starts turning up or turning down, pointing up or pointing down a little bit quicker than your simple moving average, given even the same duration. So if you're using a 20-day WMA or a 50-day WMA, it's a bit quicker to react. So sometimes traders like using that for, the more shorter dated trades, that 1 week swing, that 2 week swing, or even intraday. So what are advantages, Katina, man, of some of these weighted moving averages? He says there are none. End the story. We're ending the lesson, Satea. Get it, Katina, man. Enjoy this swim, brother. All right. Well, first and foremost, there's going to be better responsiveness to price changes. So because the WMA gives more weight to recent data similar to the EMA, it can react faster than your typical simple moving average, making it more suitable for those shorter-ish term trading strategies. And obviously, as we alluded to at the beginning of the lesson, it's customizable, right? By adjusting the weights, traders can tailor the WMA to their specific trading style as well as market conditions. No, it's just not about you, all right? It's not always about you, bro. Calm down. No, it's about the conditions that exist in the market at the same time. So tailorable in both those fashions. For instance, in a fast-moving market, higher weights can be given to recent data points for quicker reaction. But in that more consolidative market, you actually might want to, smooth out the weights. How many times have we talked about moving averages being all but useless during that sideways consolidative markets? Basically false signaling you to no end because you keep getting these crossovers, both bullish and bearish, but that don't seem to go to anywhere. So you can actually smooth that out so you get less of those crosses and try to tailor it for that consolidative market. Last but not least, it also offers you the potential for smoother lines if you weight it correctly. So depending on the weighting scheme that you apply, the WMA can produce smoother lines as compared to the SMA, which can help reduce noise and definitely improve trend identifications. But nothing is without its disadvantages, Sate. I mean, let's call a spade a spade. It's a bit complex, right? The complexity here doesn't make it so suitable, especially for that novice, newer trader, because they don't know what weights to assign unless they're going to copy somebody else's, right? So determining the optimal weights can be challenging and requires a careful consideration of the market conditions as well as your own trading goals. And then there's also the sensitivity of the outliers. As WMA gives more weight to the recent data, again, if you weight it that way, it can be more sensitive to the extreme price movements or these outlying price action points, right? Which might lead you to false signals. So for example, you might get a bit of a pop on the WMA if you weight the more recent price action too heavily, and then you end up getting a false signal, whether we're in a crossover or whatever. And there's also a bit of lag, as we always have with moving averages. That's kind of part and parcel of using these things. While WMA is generally a bit more responsive, or more than a bit, than the simple moving average, it still lags obviously behind the price action to some extent, which can impact your trading decisions. So when is a good time to use the WMA? Let's talk about that. It can be particularly useful in, first, fast-moving markets, right? Because you're weighting the more recent price action a bit more heavily. So the WMA's responsiveness to recent price changes can be advantageous in the markets with rapid price fluctuations, as well as those experienced in Forex and your domain, the cryptocurrencies, and that's in vogue right now, so you might want to take down some notes. Shorter term trading as well, we already alluded to this. It's better traders focusing on intraday or shorter term swing trading may find the WMA more helpful than an SMA or an EMA due to its ability to capture those shorter term trends. And last but certainly not least, specific market conditions. If a trader believes the recent price action is more indicative of future trends, the WMA can be a suitable choice. Case in point, crypto. I mean, we had the mother of all cup and handles forming on Bitcoin. So you had that low kind of cup, obviously, through 2022 and parts of 23. And then we had that consolidative area between like 50 and 70,000 for a hot minute, right? That was the handle part of the cup. So now we're getting a breakout from the handle of the cup and handle pattern. So if you would make sense now that we know the breakout is already forming, to use WMA for your Bitcoin trades because it's gonna weight the more recent price action a bit more heavily. And it makes sense when you're breaking out of a range, right? What's the point in looking at a previous range that you've broken out from if your theory is that we hold the top end of that range, right? So it would make sense to use the WMA when you get that big boy breakout or a clear breakout from a technical area of resistance and then weight it basically from the area where it broke out. So a little bit of a tidbit there. And we already talked about how you have to customize the weightings of each data point. So traders often experiment with custom weights to suit their specific trading styles as well as the market conditions, of course. And here are some examples of some commonly used custom weightings. Let's talk about this one. The volume weighted WMA. So instead of using equal weights for each data point, the weight is determined by the trading volume for that period. This gives more influence to periods with higher trading activity. Why would I want to, basically equally weight a day on Apple where it traded 250 million shares? I don't even know if it's done that ever. 250 million shares on a day that it traded 10 or 15 or 30 million shares. I don't think I should give those two data points equal weight. There was a lot more data received from a volume perspective and probably price action as well on the day that I got 250 million shares than on the day that I got 30. So you can customize the weighting based on the amount of volume done that day. It's incumbent upon you. But then there's also a different technique here, the price-weighted moving average. Weights here are assigned based on the price level of each data point. This can be useful for identifying support and resistance areas. There's also the range-weighted WMA. Weights here are based on the price range, so the high minus the low for each period. This can help filter out periods with low volatility, right? If you're not getting that much data from a volume sense on a specific day and it's not really influencing the trend, exclude it. And this is what allows you to do that range-weighted WMA technique. And last but not least, the custom weights are based on technical indicators, so you can try to base your weighting for the different data points on technicals. Here's an example. Traders might use other technical indicators like the RSI or the MACD to determine the weights for each data point. For instance, higher weights can be given to periods with strong bullish or bearish signals. For example, so I'm chugging along, I'm trading Apple, whatever. All of a sudden, I get a bullish crossover on the MACD. On the day that I get that bullish crossover, on the day that I get that bearish crossover, I may want to more heavily weight that specific day in the WMA customization. So you can keep it however you want it. And last but not least, WMA and trading strategies. You can use this using various strategies. You can use a trend following strategy. Traders can use the WMA to identify the direction of the trend and enter positions accordingly. So you can look for a crossover of a shorter WMA over a longer term WMA in the same way that we do with the simple moving average and the exponential moving average. But there's also momentum trading that we can try to apply this to. So by comparing the WMA to the price, traders can assess the strength of the current trend and identify potential overbought or oversold conditions, kind of like what we do normally with moving averages in general. And there's also the last little tidbit here, the support and resistance aspect of the WMA in the kind of the same way we do with the EMA and the SMA. If you're approaching that 200 exponential or that 200 simple on the daily chart, a lot of us will look for support because it's such a well-followed moving average duration. So you can kind of do the same thing with there, use it as both support and resistance. So that's my little spiel on the weighted moving average. I would say probably the least known of the moving averages, would you say?
I would say, yeah. I haven't really used it like too often, but thank you for that, Sharif.
Sure.
Always bring in the lessons and take notes, guys, because he has that fire. But today we're coming a little bit different. So, NVIDIA, they have their earnings. I believe, what is it? Is it today after the bell? NVIDIA, yeah, today after the bell. So we are excited for that. Of course, I'm excited for that because I love to trade NVIDIA. But today I came a little bit different in the morning and I traded Target. This had their earnings in the pre-market today. And you guys know my setup. If you watch the show, I'm looking for the break of, that day's low. And so I got in a little bit early. I'll show you guys my chart here. I got in around 122.02. And took a little bit of a scalp there, got out around 121.35. So I'm gonna hit that bang for the first trade of the day, of course, And so yeah, just a little bit of a scalp there. I didn't necessarily want to hold it. I usually hold it for the break of the low of the day. But, I was anticipating that there may be a little bit of a bounce. So I'll let it bounce and then I'll assess and see if I like what I'm seeing and then I'll get back in. So that is what I'm looking at in terms of Target. And then obviously NVIDIA, come on, I love that ticker. And so I'm looking at this as well. I was actually going to enter it while I was in my Target trade as well. But I don't like the fact that it's not really holding and I'm not seeing that volume too much yet above that VWAP price. I want to see a little bit more action here, maybe 145.75. getting, the bids up there, and then I'll be a little bit more convinced. But NVIDIA has been moving. It bounced at 1020, and we made this strong kind of trend to the upside. And then now we're, lagging a little bit, but I'm not giving up on NVIDIA just yet, but I do want to see how it reacts with that VWAP level. So I'm really interested in that, and waiting to see how that plays out. And then going to crypto, I've been watching Ethereum. I love to trade Ethereum. Right now, it's kind of been, it's been letting me down a little bit, to be honest. It rejected off of 3,450, from Tuesday.
Wow.
Fabian, you don't.
You don't want none of that.
No. So yeah, on Tuesday of last week, we had this top here around 3,450. And so we've been struggling since then, and I feel like that this is a key kind of pivotal level because it was also a psychological level. That 450, that $500 mark, those are psychological levels. And I find that when there is rejections off those 50s, off those $100 levels, you should really pay attention to how it reacts. And so that rejection is kind of, I don't think it's necessarily a bear market, but we're definitely having, a little bit of a pullback there. And I do want to see that support of 3,000 for Ethereum, to continue forward. So I'm looking at that $3,000 mark, that 3,100. I think that those are really key levels as of right now to really continue to the upside. And so those are kind of what I'm looking at as of right now. And then Bitcoin, we were at that all-time high. We nearly hit that 95,000, but then we're approaching back to VWAP. And so I don't think this is anything to fret over, but I would be a little bit worried just in the short term if you are day trading, if you're using leverage trading or anything like that, that the break of VWAP might be, a little bit bearish in the short term. But that's what I'm looking at in terms of NVIDIA, Target, Ethereum, and Bitcoin. How about you, Sharif?
I'm just talking to Pedro, saying, anyone know why Robinhood doesn't let you trade crypto? I think that's one of their biggest markets, brother. They're doing volume up the yin-yang in crypto there. So I think maybe you either have restrictions or maybe the area that you're in is restricted. We don't have Robinhood on this side of the border, but I can just tell you because we cover it constantly from a news perspective, there's plenty of crypto on there. So just make sure you've got all the settings done right there. Shout out to Pedro. Pedro, thank you for the question. Guys, we have a beautiful looking small cap gapper, and what kind of day Satya would it be if I didn't have my small cap gapper chart?
Of course. You can't have a show with Sharif on it without the small cap gapper.
No. 1060 here on X. Yeah. XC. You are, guys, halted at 1060 right now. It's a good looker, man. Look. This one, it's a bit of a bamboozler, but there is a silver lining. Here's the deal. It breached VWAP. You know how I feel about trading these small cap gappers south of VWAP. You see what I did there? But there was a key area of support that it did hold up at. Look at that 8.25. Beautiful area right after the bell. 945 top. Comes back in, defends the 10 exponential. Lo and behold, once we weasel up into that 10 1/3, we come back down to 8.25 to hold this area. So this is already checking off boxes in my book in the sense that it is respecting areas of former resistance, acting as support, currently halted at 1060. Not going to chase this, but very interested in trading this monster if it does come back into the right level. I'm weaseling my way into Faraday Future. Shout out to Randy. Hope maybe when he comes out here, we can start talking a little cars. Faraday. Look, I see higher lows. I'm interested until it breaks VWAP. So I've already got in at 46, so I'm 3 pennies out of the money, but I'm looking at adding, in fact, at 42s with the ultimate out being like something like 38s or 37s. We're going to give this one the old community college try and see what comes of that. As you see, my screen is littered with small cap gappers, but some of them are to my liking, some of them are not. Obviously, XCUR checks off that box. Faraday Futures checks off that box, otherwise I wouldn't be in it. But RCAT here, RCAT, not Doja Cat, but RCAT, really catching my attention here. A bit of a compression pattern happening, a bit of what we call a bull pennant, right? Because we get that big boy move, so that's the pole, and there's the pennant. Why is it a pennant, not a flag? Because it's compressing with lower highs, yet it's putting in higher lows. It's above VWAP, so check. Above pre-market high, check. Everything's good to go. It's just about how we weasel into this trade. So let me tell you, my first move here is going to be try to get it on the dip, 615, 610, 620, something like that, in and around that area. We'll talk more about that, though, once we're done paying some bills, baby. With the VF9's launch, VinFast is taking a bold step in expanding its North American lineup, delivering premium, eco-conscious options in the underserved full-size electric SUV segment. This milestone underscores VinFast's dedication to shaping the future of sustainable mobility while making electric vehicles more accessible for North American consumers. But wait, there's more. VinFast isn't stopping there. No. The company has recently announced a massive $3.5 billion financial boost to fuel its global expansion and strengthen its market position. From the affordable mini EVs to its premium E-segment lineup, VinFast is catering to every driver's dream and price point. And I'm just gonna say this as a fan, not because we're being paid. I'm all about that VF9.
Okay.
Let me tell you. Let me just weasel a quick picture
bring it
over
up.
here, if you don't mind. VF9 VinFast. It's a looker, Satya. Let me tell you, over here. Here it is.
Are you adding this to the fleet?
I'm not going to add it because the money's finite.
Okay.
Right? Quite frankly, I'm loving, let's choose our beautiful province of Ontario and then deal with all the tax that comes with that. Let's just weasel down. Where's that? Hold on, Fabian. I'm trying to show them the blue over here. There we go. Look at this, Satya.
Your favorite kind of blue.
Yes, you know them about that life. You know them about that life. Yeah, this is what they're talking about. It's long and wide as well. So when
it's a big body.
Yeah, it is. I like that. It's a big body. Yeah, so that's the VF9. That's what they're talking about there. I just want to shout out our sponsors at VinFast.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, I'm looking at the tickers. I'm going through. I'm looking at NVIDIA. I'm kind of glad that I didn't get in when I was trying to get in. I was eyeing that VWAP level. I thought it may hold. But now we're kind of just doing this kind of action where it's like a V and then it's kind of crossing down. And so I feel like because, the earnings report is coming after the bell, I think that it's not going to have the support that we really want as of right now. And so I'm not necessarily looking bearish yet because, there's still that earnings that is still coming out. But I'm going to keep my eye on it. I really am. But I think that I'm going to hold off on NVIDIA today because she may bamboozle me, to be honest. I would rather wait for, a more clear direction once that earnings comes out so that, there's not a push and pull of the bears and the bulls. I really want to be certain. So I think I'm going to leave her today and we're going to move on to something else. I'm really interested in what you guys are seeing. Woody Mornings is saying Nike 7315 with a pants emoji. I don't know what that means, but let's take a look at that. Nike here, 73. Yeah, Nike is looking, a little bit sad. She's really curling down. And so I'm waiting for kind of the break of this low level here around 72.90. If I see a break there, I'm definitely looking to get short there. But, I don't want to get in too prematurely because I'm not really seeing too much volume as of yet. But if it does get down there, I'm looking to attack. But Nike, nothing too crazy yet. What else do we got here? What else are you guys looking at? Nike, VFS here. Let's take a look at that. This is kind of okay, the VinFast. This is looking pretty bearish as well, to be honest. This is kind of breaking through the day's low. It's kind of at the day's low, but it looks like it wants to break through the day's low. Not something that I would necessarily trade just because the volume really isn't there. When I look at a chart like this, I don't see a lot of long candles that really gets me convicted because I'm more of a scalper. And so I like to see those long candles that's indicative of, lots of volume being done. And so I'm not really seeing that on this, but just from a perspective, if you are trading it, looking for that slow burn, this is looking pretty bearish there. Someone is saying random oddities, MSTR 460 again would be nice. Let's take a look at that. MSTR. Let's see here, 460. Yeah, I don't think that is out of the picture, to be honest. That is kind of like this bottom here from the morning. And so we're breaking through that VWAP. We made this top here 500, and that is, I think, very key because we got to that 500. Usually when it gets to the psychological levels, like I was talking about on target, I want to see it break at that moment. And because it's rejecting off that 500 level, I see rejection.
40 seconds.
Okay,
yeah.
But we do have
40 seconds. You're good.
Okay.
I didn't mean to interrupt
Okay, no worries. Yeah, but I saw that rejection. I don't really like what I see. We're breaking through that VWAP level, and so 460, I don't think that is out of the question. So thanks for bringing my attention to that. I don't think that's a bad play, but we have something for you.
No, we talk about this, Fabian, right here, baby. We just took like 80 pennies, quick as you like, on XCUR. This is going, baby, 105%. Big boy breakout through that 10.5 after it took out that 1040 level, 1050 level. Dang, boy. We took out that last little bit at 12, initially in at 11.10. It's still zigging and zagging. I will absolutely entertain this one again if it does come down. Look at this thing go. It's always the case, Satea, that I don't have enough sharage on. You end up taking what you think is a good trade. It ends up looking bupkis after because it continues to go.
Damn. You're always going to be mad, though, as a trader. Yeah.
I agree with you. All right, let's pay some bills, baby. Military medals. Donald John Trump, during his first presidency, emphasized that a strong America must not depend on foreign adversaries for critical minerals essential to our nation's economic and military strength in the 21st century. Aligning with this vision, military metals is emerging as a global powerhouse in the antimony space, crucial for defense and military applications. With past producing assets in the US and Canada and Europe, military metals is poised to secure these vital resources domestically. So don't wait too long. This story is heating up fast. And as I, kind of just talk about that quickly there, I also want to mention that the OG Darwin in the chat was putting a bit of a message that Russia is preparing what we perceive to be a response for the Ukrainian attack this morning. So I was actually reading a bit of an article on that. It looks like they weren't using American weapons. It was British supplied long-range missiles this time around. So everybody seems to be involved here. In any event, so this is the trade that I'm keeping my eye on. Very interested right now in weaseling in back into XCUR. Now, here's what I'm thinking. So we were waxing poetic, esoteric, whatever, about this 1040, 1050 level. If it comes back in to 1040, 1050, why wouldn't I be getting in? I don't have to have the biggest position because it's not a breakout trade at that point. It's a support and resistance trade, right? So I have to count for that. It's ugly topping tail candle right now on the 5 on XCUR. But I've traded enough of these to know that one topping tail candle usually isn't operative for the entire day. It's not the final say on how this one's going to look. So let this topping tail manifest. And I'm going to be all eyes and ears for that 1050, 1040. This is the area I'm looking at over here. So again, ugly one candle right now. It's not even a topping tail. It's turning into an inverse hammer right now. So we'll keep an eye out on that one, 1050, 1040. Very, very interested in weaseling my way back in. But I've got Fifi over here, Faraday Futures. And I'm 3 pennies out of the money, and I'm disappointed about it. But I'm keeping my eye mostly on this 139 level, this $1.39. Reason being it's VWAP as well as the closing print on this area crest that we put in right at the open there, 945. Is there a headline on Faraday? Let me just double check super quick. Oh yeah, here it is. Okay. So Faraday Futures Intelligent Electric shares are trading higher after the company announced it shipped its first FX prototype. It shipped a prototype and we're moving. Okay. Mutes to the U.S. headquarters and is launching the development and testing phase to deliver high-performance AI EVs. Of course, they said AI EVs. This is fantastic, bro. Just use AI in anything. It's like crypto now. You see anybody throwing the word Bitcoin and crypto, and they're running up.
They're jumping on it.
It's great. Say it again. Canadian pirates say R-A. AI. I like that, Fabian. What does a Canadian pirate say? Asks Fabian. AI. I like that. That's so good. Anytime I go to California to visit my sister, the first thing they notice right away is the fact that I say A. it's like we don't even pronounce the words differently than the Cali people.
Yeah.
But the fact that you throw it an A every now and again,
you
it's a dead giveaway, right?
No.
Yeah, it's like, you Canadian. It's like you did something wrong or something. I don't even know. What are you looking at over there, Steph?
For sure. So I was looking at MSTR. I was looking to get in there. I want to see a little bit of a retracement to VWAP a little bit. I feel like I missed the opportunity there around 470. I did actually want to get that price, but I feel like I missed it a little bit, so a little bit disappointed about that. But I wanted to address a question in the chat to NY Cent, my guy. He asked me, you mentioned you look for those long candles. Does that mean you use or look at the 5 to 10 or 15-minute candles? So when I'm looking at like a low volume stock, yes, that's what I'm looking at, but it's more so like with something like, I don't know, VinFast? So like with VinFast, like what I don't like is the fact that like the candles are small. Even if you look on the 15-minute, it is like longer, but I more so like to see those longer candles on like shorter time frames, like the 3-minute, the 5-minute. And so when I see small candles like this that are only moving, so this was like 392 to around 393, that's only like 1 cent. And so I'm not like that great of a trader where I can catch those small moves. I really like those big movements. I feel like I can identify more of a trend or a scalp opportunity in those bigger moves. And so when I see something like this, like it is doing a little bit more volume today, but when I see something like this where the candles are not really candles, they look more so like lines, I say, hey, this is not really the environment for me personally, because I'm a scalper, I'm a momentum trader, and there needs to be momentum. And if there's not momentum, then I'm just going to be sitting in the trade, kind of waiting, kind of wasting my time when I can be allocating my time to things that are moving, because we have access to so many tickers. And so I feel like it would just be, a waste of my time to just be sitting here on something very low volume. So that's what I mean by looking at, the longer candlesticks. And you see, when you see something like this, like Target, for example, you see like, it's moving 124 to around like 123. So it's more like dollar moves rather than cents. And so that's the language that I like to speak. So that is what I'm looking at here. Someone in the chat is saying, Mara, go long. Let's take a look at Mara. Let's see here. Mara, I like this setup. I would be a little bit more interested once it crosses $22, just because this was kind of the local high in the morning from 950. And so it is above VWAP, which I really like. It came down here from this 2285 mark, came down to VWAP. That is usually kind of a bounce level that I'm looking at. And so it did bounce, which I really like, but I want to see a little bit more conviction because it's still at this 9 EMA, and sometimes I use the 9 EMA to kind of trail for like a short position, for example. And so it's still kind of following this trend here to the short side. But once I see that break on the 9 EMA and then the cross of this level here, 2210, maybe I'll give it a little bit more room, 2210, where I'll put this line as a green line. This is the cross that I'm really looking for, just because at least I have a definitive risk level. If I get in here, at least I can risk below VWAP around 2145, and I can know, hey, if it gets below VWAP, then I don't want to be in this trade anymore. It's not doing what I anticipated it to do. But if I get in here, for example, it is giving it a little bit more risk. I could still give it to the bottom of this VWAP level, but I just like more confirmation. That's just how I trade personally. Nothing wrong with either or, but I feel like I can get in more size because there is more confirmation there. So that's just kind of how I play things out. But Mara does look really good as of right now. The fact that it's holding above VWAP, really like that. I like the fact that it broke above this pre-market high. This was done, early in the day at 9:30, and then again at 10:12, and then again at 10:24. And so I really like those plays. And so if I was sitting at my desk here, I would have gotten in at those levels because I do like the pre-market high. But when I do miss that pre-market high, I'm looking for VWAP for my next kind of entry level, and then kind of the local high if I did miss this move. So that is looking really great. What else do we guys got there? MSTR again. Let's see here. TLT. Let's see. Never heard of that one, but we'll take a look at this. Okay, this is a share treasury. So yeah, I really like this as well. What I like about this is strong trend up from the morning pretty much. Never really broke VWAP, to be honest. What I really like, I wouldn't necessarily, if you're not in this already, I wouldn't necessarily get in here. Just for my play personally, I'm probably looking for the retracement back to VWAP, and then if it does want to continue the trend, then I would be looking, to post my order here. But what I want to see is that it gets down here and I see a bounce above this level, and then I get in after. I don't necessarily post my orders waiting for that, because what could happen is just it gets down there and then it breaks here, which I don't want to be in the trade for this kind of move. If it does break that VWAP level, I kind of want to see how it reacts, wait for that bounce, and then I attack. How about you, Sharif?
All right, we're in a couple of positions here, Satya. Let me talk first and foremost about XCUR. It's halted again to the upside again, and I was so close to getting my ad. I waxed poetic about that 1050, 1060 level, or 1050, 1040. And I even am like, all right, bro, don't worry about that 1050, 1040 level. This thing's moving dollars at a time. Throw it up at 1060, secure that order. Funny. Yeah, it came down to 1075, so I missed it. And now it's halted at 1248, so it's really going here. So good look here for XCUR. It's not off the hook. And this is what I tried to stress to you guys. The topping tail candle was ugly. It was, could have probably stopped a lot of people out, but it isn't operative on these small cap gappers. I've seen these guys trade way too much to put too much emphasis into one 5-minute candle. We're halted at the high end of that topping tail. So we got bought up super quick. XCUR on watch. Now, I'm involved in RCAT. I already wet my beak there. RCAT broke the compression pattern that we were talking about. I said I observed a bull pennant forming, and it broke it decidedly from the top trend line there, descending trend line. So I got long. It's printing 1059. It's at the high of the day. I'm looking to wet my beak. I've already got orders out. We already took a couple out there. So one out, excuse me, not a couple. One, we're setting up for the second one over here. I'm going to set up at 65. What's life without MZ Satya? We're going to put it there. And then this one, bang, Faraday Futures. We take out that 148. I'm disappointed a little bit with myself on this one, though, because I had that DCA planned, dollar cost average at $1.41. It weasels into that $1.42. I don't get that DCA, and by extension of that better price. So we're going to have to do with the shareage we have on and the ACB, the adjusted cost base of what we've got on at the moment. So it's Nurmud. He's back. No, I'm just joking. It's Nimrod. Yeah, I know, guys. No, $1.50 for Fifi over here. Faraday Future is up 18.1. But now we gotta shout out Nimrod. Shout out to my man Nimrod over there. I mispronounced his name yesterday, and it was funny. If NVIDIA disappoints, how will it affect other chip stocks? Probably taking it down, but it can boost a competitor stock. When tech stocks drop, does it usually benefit the other stocks' commodities? Example, gold, Russell, low tech. You bring up a really good question. Can there be some, contrary or sympathy plays? I forget what Derek calls it. It's not sympathy. It's I forget what the word she uses. Here's the thing, though, brother. NVIDIA is kind of the king. And it's not the king because it feels like being called the king. It's the king because it's the one taking all of Taiwan Semiconductor's capacity to produce these advanced AI GPUs. It's not like AMD and Broadcom are not trying to get their hands on them. They are. There's just no capacity, at least not yet, right? We know Taiwan Semi's building umpteen amount of plants everywhere. A couple in Japan, a couple in Arizona. They got one in Dresden, Germany, and even maybe some more. I think they are actually throwing their hat into Vietnam. I'm not 100% sure about that. In any event, there's just not enough product that they're delivering to give to AMD. So how is AMD supposed to benefit from NVIDIA's weakness? They can't get their hands on the chips. So what you're saying makes absolute sense in a regular context, but in this case, we're actually talking about a legal monopoly so far that nobody can seem to outduel. So 99 times, I think, out of 100, you're right on that, and that someone's competitor benefits when they don't do that well. But I don't know if it's this time. Anyway, with respect to the first part of your question, if NVIDIA tanks or if it guides badly with respect to demand, yeah, you're gonna see the chips get hit. ASML, some others, even other like Broadcom and AMD, they're all gonna get hit, especially if they talk about weak demand. But nobody's anticipating that. we'll have to wait and see. That's what the 5 o'clock call is for. Shout out to Jensen and his leather jacket. Hopefully I'll be sporting that tomorrow. All right. We're doing real well here, man. On Fifi, we've got a couple of outs so far. We're long 46, just wet my beak there at 54s. Looking for this one to continue to the top side here on Faraday, up 20%. Let's have a look at the other one that we're involved in, RCAT. RCAT rejecting my 65 penny order there. So we'll have to pack our patience to see if RCAT wants to continue moving to the high side over here. And guys, I see you guys talking about GME. So let's get into that, man, because we got to cover this. GameStop, I don't think it has a headline. I'm going to have to double check that. No, there is no headline on GameStop, but that doesn't really matter because something's afoot with GameStop. And I've watched this trade for a few years now, and enough to know that this over here is not random. Something's going on. And I don't know what it is, but like usually when you see stuff like this, basically from the end of October onwards, I think we're going to get like some sort of announcement. Someone's building a position into GameStop over here. And look, you've got a flat top in and around 29 on the daily. So this is an interesting outlying area here on GME. I'm just waiting for that day that I show up to work and there's a GameStop headline in the morning. Just guessing. I got nothing, obviously, no insider information there, but GameStop, it's looking real good. Trading near the high, 28.55, but it's got a local area of resistance around here. You can kind of gauge it from around low 28s to 29. You can see all the topping tail candles all have trouble with that level, and we've been dancing with this level since Remembrance Day, Veterans Day in the States, 11/11. We kind of weaseled up into that 28.80. We've been having trouble with that level ever since then. So yeah, I'll pack my patience. I'm not going to jump into GameStop, obviously, right now. But if it sets up on the 5-minute, I can absolutely be persuaded. What does the 5-minute look like? All right, what is it respecting? Well, it's respecting the 10. If you're able to deal with these wicks that, very much violate the 10, if you can handle that kind of drop and then, maybe even DCA, plan DCA into that, then you're doing well. But I'm going to steer clear of GME for now. I think I've got my plate full with some of these small cap gappers already. What are you looking at, Satya?
For sure. I was looking at Palantir because someone said Palantir in the chat. And so I'm waiting for this Palantir. This looks like, something's geared up to happen. And so what I like about this trade and what I like about the potential setup that I may get into here is the fact that this bottom was formed around 10.20. And then we get up to VWAP. We reject a little bit. We bounced off at 60.54. And then we're heading to on the way up. And so I'm waiting for this cross of VWAP. I want to wait a little bit, maybe around 61.50, 61.55. I really want to see it get up there. I want to see a hold of VWAP. And so this looks pretty good for me because I like the fact that, we made this kind of distinct move here to the upside, just green, green, green candles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 on the 3-minute. If we look on the 15-minute, just strong green candle here. And so I really like that. It did reject a little bit off of VWAP, but I like the fact that it's still trying to reclaim VWAP again. And so this is what I kind of call like my 2 VWAP touch. It didn't necessarily play out like exactly how I wanted because this was the last time it kind of crossed through VWAP, but I like the fact that it came up here, came down, couldn't necessarily break to the lows, and then it's making its way up here. So I really like that, and so I think I'm going to post my order here on Palantir around 61.55. Actually, maybe I might just put an alert and then see what it does from there. And then if I like what I'm seeing at that point, then I will get in there very quickly. And so I'm looking at that, and then I'm looking at NVIDIA, and okay, NVIDIA, I didn't want to trade this, but now it's kind of setting up into something that I do like. And so so it's above VWAP, which I really like. It bamboozled me a little bit because it broke through VWAP at 11.15, came down here around 144.30, and then we're holding strong above VWAP, it seems. So I think that I'm going to weasel my way in here. I do want to wait a little bit, 145.70. I'm going to wait for the break of that because I believe that if it truly is going to the upside, that it should at least break, this high which it previously rejected off of a little bit. So 145.70, I think I'm going to weasel my way in there.
Hey.
So I'm going to throw in my order there and see what we do from there. How about you, Sharif?
I'm still keeping my eye here on my friend Arcat. And I'm waiting for a print today, and it's not giving it to me, Fabian. I've been waiting for a hot minute here at 65s. The spread is tightening up, though. So usually it was a 3-4 penny spread. Now it's a penny as we weasel up into 64s. All right, come on, bro. 65's all I'm asking for, man. Argue and quib over a penny. Come on now. All right, we're gonna continue to watch here and see if I can get that print at 65s. I'm waiting at 69 as well because, you know, what's life without whimsy there. We're gonna keep an eye out on that. But guys, I want to tell you that we got a brand new way to vote for the afternoon rundown, which is literally nothing without you guys. The big kahunas are going to wax esoteric about the top 5 stocks that you guys decided, and it's easier than ever to vote, Ram. Let's show them how to do it. So you weasel on into the chat, and then there's a poll at the top of the chat there. Super easy. We got Target for the number 1 there. Then we got IBIT with Bitcoin making all-time highs. It doesn't seem to stop. And then the monster NVD Dang A reports after the bell. Make sure to watch that with Neil today. Are you on the market recap? Market recap show with my main man, Neil. He's going to be on that, and he's going to cover that. He's going to cover Palo Alto Networks, Pan W, everything after the bell. So make sure to watch that with Neil after the bell. And then we got SMCI. It's getting it's a bit of a tougher day today again for SMCI, 7 1/5, right? 7 1/4 right now, excuse me, negative. So get into the chat and vote. You got 4 votes or 4 different options to vote for, and then at 1:30, the second part of the show, we're gonna throw a new poll on there with 4 different names. We'll take the top 3 from this one and the top 2 from those. So we try to put the good ones on the first one or whatever's moving at the time. So make sure, guys, that you're participating and vote your way. But to New York Cents, my man, you're voting the old way. I see you there voting with the old way. Get into the chat, to New York Cents. The poll's on the top of the screen. Just click one of the 4 there and have at it. So that is the new way to vote. Oh, I still have a resting order here on XCure. Must be X out of my mind here. No, I don't want to do that. All right, guys, we're doing really well here on Fifi. I'm really happy with this trade. We wet our beak there again at 50. Where did we get it? 57s. Now I set up at 59. We're showing 58s, I believe, on the ask on the level 2. But there's a bit of chop and churn right now, so we're unable to ascend above there. But I'm definitely keeping my eye here, looking at that 160 break and take on Fifi. Let's do some wider time frame charting here on Faraday Futures to see where I could encounter some resistance. Oh, there's plenty of levels here for resistance. What a good-looking chart on Faraday. Nothing wrong with this chart at all, Sate. I don't want to hear it, right? It's a good-looking chart.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. In any event, I don't mean to disparage the stock, but yeah, these guys and these bad boys too, they split reverse split over here to kind of get back in compliance, and now they're knocking the door of $1 again, so it's a tougher look. In any event, 159 HOD, is there a level of importance here? I'd say $1.75. That was where we weaseled on up to on November 13th. That one, I believe 175 was the high of the day. That's where I'll be gauging, but obviously if it comes back down into my entry, I'm going to get stop out for the remaining amount. There's some other stuff moving too, guys. Look at this one, FBRX. This is a big mover, 160%. Put some respect on this one's name. $6 closing print yesterday. We're all the way up at the highs anyway, 1881. And then we just made a move down here into around 14, where VWAP is hanging out. Lo and behold, now we're locking the door 16. So good hold up at the volume weighted average price. But let me tell you, FBRX is trading wild. It's trading wild because it's spready and it's moving like 45, 50 pennies at a time. I don't know why I said 45 there, but it's all good. Let's give you the details on this monster here, XCUR. So what do? Early stage biotech company focused on developing therapies targeting stuff that I can't say. About a $29 million market cap, 4.75 million shares. And let's find out what the short float, if any, FBRX. Nope. negligible, 0.08 according to Trade Ideas, so nothing really that I want to base any trades on. In any event, it did hold VWAP, so good look there for FBRX. AGFY, kind of this similar thing. You know, it's sparsely traded, this one, so be careful, but it does come right into VWAP, holds up, and it's $1.50 higher from that volume-weighted average price, so keep tabs on that one as well. But FIFI here, FIFI is starting to show me multiple topping tails now. Faraday futures is what I mean by FIFI, guys. I'm just joking, calling it that way. So anything above $0.50, I'm done on Faraday. I'm long 146, but if it breaches $0.50, $1.50, I'm gone. There's a couple of reasons for that. One, the topping tail candle that we got at 10.15, excuse me, tops out at 150. We also have the 10 exponential moving average at that $1.50. So we're gonna have to hold above this level for me to stay interested. If we don't, I'll stop out, break even on the remaining amount. Or actually, I'll be a 4-penny winner because I'll stop out at $1.50 and I'm long 46. So we'll keep an eye out on that. Lemonade, guys, a day 2 play. So Lemonade was awfully strong yesterday. It kind of shot up in the beginning of the day and it didn't give back much, if at all, of the gains, to be quite fair. It held above VWAP the entire day yesterday and it gapped up this morning from the closing print. So good look for LMND, another second day continuation, now knocking on the door of that $50 area with a high of 46.85. And let me tell you something else here. This could be an ascending wedge. So generally, there seems to be some resistance here at 46 2/3. So if we gauge that area as a flat top, then we could say, okay, higher lows, but a flat top. What does that mean? Ascending wedge. So we're looking for, you know, a good, you know, break of that level, possibly even 47. I'm going to keep my eye on LMND. It's been running for a couple of days, so good look right now, Satya. What are you looking at?
Yeah, so I just got out of my NVIDIA trade. So usually, here's my thought process here. So every time that it breaks through an even dollar level, what I'll do is I kind of anticipate that it shouldn't break through that level. And so I feel like, I don't know, I'm a little bit at odds with this because I do still feel like this is going to the upside, but it's just me following my plan. So I got in around 145.75. So just to give you a visual, it was kind of around here. And then every time it breaks through that an even dollar level, so once it broke through 146, a lot of the time I'm posting my stop loss right below that even dollar level. So I put it at 145.99, 145.98. And because I just think that, you know, if it should continue, it should hold that level. And so sometimes when I see a little bit of slack at those levels, I get a little bit worried. I mean, it is still holding that 9 EMA, which I do like, but I think that I can just get back in if the trend really is strong. But it's just something that I like to follow by, and then I kind of trail my stop loss like that. And then if I like what I'm seeing, and I think that there's going to be a continuation, then I'll just get in at that 146 level. Yes, I am buying at a higher level, but at least I do have more confirmation, and that is what matters most to me, rather than getting in at kind of the lowest price possible. And then as we can see, like, there is a little bit of a pullback. It is holding that 9 EMA, but we'll see what it does from here. What else do we got here? Someone's saying Mara high of day. Let's take a look at that.
Love that stock.
Yes,
so
that is going beautifully. I really like that. And you know, yeah, we had that bounce off of VWAP around 11:30, and then we're going to the upside. And I think that, you know, it's looking good. I think that that is really strong there. Me personally, I feel like I missed the move a little bit, and so the next level that I'd be looking at is probably the break of this 22.86. But I don't think that it's a bad look to even get in here, because it is still trailing that 9 EMA very strong, and then it did bounce off of that VWAP level very strong there. So that looks really good. 2 New York Cents said, I do the same using the stop loss. I love it. Yeah, I mean, great minds think alike, right? And so it's just, you know, I think that it's easier. It keeps me in check, and it makes because before I would struggle with holding the position against me a lot of the time. So when I get in, a lot of the time, because I'm getting in at price levels where I think there's going to be a lot of volume, I do stop loss at break even, and then as it kind of ascends and it breaks through those different levels, then I'll start putting my stop loss higher and higher. And I think that just, it keeps you in check, because you don't want to be a person, it's in the money, it's out of the money. Then when it's out of the money, you're like, I'm going to get my money back, and you're holding at points where, you know, it gave you confirmation that this trade is really wrong. And so I think that's what keeps me.
Very wise.
Yeah, so that's just, you know, what I do. It's worked for me, so that is what I'm doing here. Someone is saying MSTR. So
Can I just cover this?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because it's bleeding here. So Neil threw this in the chat, guys. This is a good look here. ELF Beauty, guys. Looks like Muddy Waters dropping a bit of a hit piece here. Short selling hedge fund Muddy Waters has taken a short position in cosmetics company ELF Beauty. Its chief executive officer Carson Block said on Wednesday, Block speaking at the SON conference in London, said ELF had overstated its revenue over the past 3 years by possibly as much as $190 million. He added that Muddy Waters is currently short the California-based cosmetics company, but will sell down its position upon publishing the report for risk management purposes. ELF did not immediately respond to a request for comment by Reuters. It continues to bleed. It's not a good look right now. We closed out yesterday, I think. Allow me to double check that. Yeah, at about $122. We are all the way down into $104 right now. So that $100 level looks like it might be incoming pretty quickly. ELF. Guys, a $5.9 billion market cap. It trades on the NYSE. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but this.
Yeah, no worries. There's stuff we have to cover, and so we want to give you the most up-to-date information, the best information. So tune in. And so I am never mad at you interrupting me. But yeah, someone is saying Meta in the chat, and I'm so sorry. I was talking about something else when you mentioned it, and that would have been a better time. But it's blasting off. It's breaking. It's looking like it wants to break through those highs, and so that is looking really strong there. I want to look at what it's kind of doing on like a daily time frame or a weekly. I want to kind of zoom out and see, okay, we are like near those all-time highs. I nearly forgot about that. 6 months, we're near that high, the very, very top. The high was, let's see here, 605.44, and so we're currently at 565, and so yeah, it looks like it's really trying to get to that top, that high, and so we'll see what it does from here. I am a little bit worried at this top here. It's rejecting a little bit off of the 3-minute. Me personally, I do like those high of day breaks, but we're seeing a little bit slack here, and so maybe I might want to see a dip buy at this 9 EMA level. Are we going to get it? It's $3 away. I mean, that may be a little bit too much to ask for, but I feel like just for my risk tolerance, this would be a little bit better of an entry rather than getting up here. So that is what I'm looking at here. Someone's saying Woody Mornings again. He really loves that Nike. He's saying 72.97 Nike. Let's take a look at that Nike.
Neil.
What's going on here? Okay. Yeah, see, my eyes were not on this, but it did my low of day break. This is looking pretty decent as well. 72.97 is what you're looking at. Yeah, it got up to there and then it kind of banged its way down. And to be honest, for this, I'm looking for the short. Why I like this for the short, it's below VWAP. It kind of broke through this low of day from the morning to around 10:18. And so I kind of want to weasel my way in. And so it is trailing the 9 EMA. So I think that it's a kind of a good point if you like trail the 9 EMA as well. If you didn't get in at the break of this level, maybe you can wait for the retracement of the 9 EMA. Maybe if I look on the 15-minute, maybe a level that it could possibly get up to is around 73, or this break, 72.94. It might be a little bit too much to ask for, but I think that is a little bit of a better entry rather than getting in here. I find when I try to like get in at these levels when it's just like at the lows, I just get bamboozled, and so I don't really like the look of that, but that's what I'm looking at. How about you, Sheree?
All right. Interesting little tidbit there from Darwin in the chat. The market cap of crypto or Bitcoin, now more than the Canadian dollar.
That is not surprising. That's not surprising at all. Our dollar has just been tanking. Now we can't even go to like Buffalo and get the cheap stuff because we're paying like
can't go nowhere. It's like that one friend you can't take anywhere.
No.
You can't take the Canadian dollar anywhere.
No, it's sad. It's
won't buy you nothing.
They'll buy you a junior chicken at McDonald's. Yeah.
You probably pay $20 for that, so it's all good. You know?
Exactly.
Nothing's wrong. Everything's fine, Satea. All right. No, we're kidding, of course. It's we're having a tough time on this side of the border because our economy is just lacking productivity, and that's just the way it is, and so we're going to have to deal with that. All right, guys, I did get my DCA into my friend Arcat over here, so we did get that for now. It seems bottom wick, Fabian, right at that 642 or changed right back up into 650. Where am I long? 649, so let's set up a little bit higher over here, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to set up at these levels, see hopefully we can take advantage a little bit of that dip trade, but we will be talking about more of that when we get back from Neil's lesson of the day.
Thank you, everybody. Welcome to the lesson of the day. Short the Canadian dollar, long Bitcoin? I don't know. I'm going to slap the old. Come on now. A little love for Canada here, despite the fact that the dollar hasn't been doing well over here. No, really the lesson of the day, and inspired by Meta, I think, today. Just looking at how strong Meta is in the back half of it for a V-shaped recovery. Well, the question becomes, well, what do you do when usually like your key price levels, if you're looking for a dip buy, support, and resistance, if that's out the window, how do you participate in a move like this? And the reason why Meta is, Meta here at pretty much every single key price that you would have looked at gave you nothing in terms of a bounce. Prior close, 561. What's it doing at 561? Continuing short for another $2.50. Then you have the prior afternoon support, 556. What do you have it doing? Continuing north for another couple of dollars in there. And then it doesn't get to the next support level or anything along those lines. When you pop it up on the daily, it's kind of a similar story. It wasn't at any big levels, although I will point out that this prior channel to this prior channel support on Meta is holding very, very nicely in this buy range. But it wasn't giving you anything in terms of levels, and I can juxtapose that with a few other names. And we can talk about NVIDIA, and I'm going to get to that, and I'll get to AMD. But when this is happening, if you're looking for a long, you're always needing confirmation. Because if you pick one of these levels to go long, yeah, sure, you can always just hold it further against you, or maybe average in or something like that, and hope you catch the bounce. But once it does bounce, you have to ask, like, do you have an execution strategy that can get you the bottom? Or do you have a plan of action to sort of wait for it to give you another entry? Though the other entry, I think, is an obvious one. Because the key price of resistance ended up being 560 in the opening range. Right? Like there's just before 10 o'clock, there's your top. It consolidates there at VWAP, goes higher, low, and then you get the breakout at 560. So just above 560. That's one easy way to look for a long entry, which gives you a clear out, gives you clear upside, 60 at least into the 53 area, so about $3 when you're risking $1.50. Like that gives you a nice little late move. The other one is the mean reversion trade that I like. If it's trending down, well, can it close after breaking the trend? Can it close above the trend line? And then that gives you an entry in here, about 555, again, with an out. The key being, if you're trying to get long at the bottom, what is your reason for out? If you're playing support and resistance and there is no support level left, or at least it's not close enough to it, you need an entry plan which gives you an exit. Maybe you like a moving average, and then you're getting in on a cross break and giving it to the low. So whether it's a mean revert or just simply wait for it to confirm, give a VWAP break, there are ways to be into that move that you don't have to wait around for. And that's the reason why, regardless of what stock you're trading at that moment, it's one of the reasons why I went over to ARM on that bounce. And I'll show you NVIDIA in a quick second, but ARM, the support level I liked was 131. So did I have an execution strategy that was gonna work for me? Pretty simple. I just showed you like that mean revert idea. It did the same thing. It had a trend down, regained 131, which is my support level. It was too far underneath. Gives me the close above. I'm now long to prior bar bottom. And I've got a trade into VWAP and a trade that I like. So I have an entry execution plan that works for that trade, risk to reward. And that's the reason why, I mean, Sean was in NVIDIA, I was not. And really, there was a point when I think NVIDIA would have made sense. Another reason why I want to go back to it. I like 146 for a bounce. Right away at the open, we had a bounce off 146. Gave to the $0.50 and then immediately done. The only other point at which this really set up and just do what we found over there on Meta. And really, from the open top to the lower high, there's your close above. The mean reversion trade. So this is the only place, at least for myself in terms of a strategy, like I don't mind not being involved all in here, no plan of action, no out, no entry, nothing. No out, no entry, like nothing in there gives me a trade that is doable. However, there was this right in there, right about 10.24, 10.25, and you can see the difference in acceleration. It requires a lot of patience, right? Because what if this way, if it just keeps trending down to 140, you're not involved in it because you're waiting for something specific to happen. And when it does, you can see it start to accelerate into the upside. Now, this works in both ways. I'm going to give you an example of that. Like, I don't want to think that it's only in the other direction because I did have a trade in Mara. Similar thing. I wanted to revert Mara today. Mara was an absolute beast. So it traded higher and higher. If you're playing support and resistance, then what levels do you have to work off of as a resistance trader? Like you're waiting here for one thing, and if it breaks 23, what are you waiting for, $25? So you can only be patient there, let it at least try, gives a trend reversal trade for me, and then I jump in and play it into VWAP. So it does require a lot of patience. In your best case scenario, you get something like a Meta, where you can grab a bottom, it also gives you a confirmation long after, and you get that big V-shaped recovery. Other times, you might have something like an ARM or Mara, which only goes to VWAP, NVIDIA, which almost gives you a full retracement, a V-shaped retracement. But when you try to trade off of key price levels, and there are none, either you have an execution strategy which allows you to go against the grain, or you don't. And if you don't have one, you don't have to sit on the bid. There's nothing wrong with not being involved against the grain in the trend. If you don't want to do it, you don't have to. When you are sitting down in front of your trading station, not having a position is a position. So if you can't come up with an entry, a reason to be in, an entry at level, and a reason to get out and where you're going to get out of the trade, then you have no business being in, and doubly so when you're going against the grain. Sometimes it's better to join the move after confirmation than try to stand in front of just an absolute rocket ship. And the last one before I send you guys back, like something even like ELF. Like I was looking at this sucker, and you have no levels to play off of until it got down closer to $100 on the daily chart on this Muddy Waters, I think it was Muddy Waters report. It was down around $101 as your support on the daily. So unless it got down there, you're not playing the support and resistance game. But what you can do is, again, for myself, you could throw up a couple of looks. One would be trend since the news, which it hasn't even broken. Or you can have trend since VWAP, which would be about the same thing. To look for an execution strategy. It closes above, give it the prior bar high, should set something up where you can get $3, $4 of a move to VWAP, risking about $1. That's the idea. And if you can't explain the trade in those types of terms, I just happen to use trend lines here. Whatever you use, you use. If you can't explain the trade in those terms before you get into it, then you don't have a trade, you've got to gamble. So again, today there were lots of V-shaped recoveries or bounce plays, but the timing was everything if you wanted to stay green, and having an execution plan to go against the grain was all the difference. Yesterday, NVIDIA was my best stock. Today it was flat. It had a V-shaped recovery, but I didn't have my entry point, so I didn't take it. We found other ones that we did have an entry point for. That's what it's all about. Just make sure you have a plan of action to be able to follow, and if you can't explain the trade through, then you're just gambling. That's your lesson of the day.
There he is, Neil Roberts. We call that around these parts, we call it Neilage, because it is. Thank you very much, Neil. Excellent, informative, and just all around eloquent as always. Neil Roberts, baby. If you like what you heard, be around every day around that noon hour. He's going to zip up his cardigan. Everything's going to be good. Yeah, the roaring. Yes, Neil, I saw that 29 touch and bump on GME. So while Neil was dropping his lesson of the day, Satea and I were looking at GameStop, obviously, because it's moving. And it's, again, moving without a catalyst. But here it is, GME up at 28.69, monster topping tail into 28.98, comes right back into that original area of resistance, 28.69. That was the topping tail candle. We put it in at 11.10, but look at the successively higher lows, both on a trough basis and on a per candle basis. Each successive candle, higher low, higher low, higher low than its predecessor. So good look right now for GameStop. Not the biggest percentage mover on the day, a respectable though, 4%, and trading close to those highs. So we'll definitely keep tabs. I'm going to be keeping tabs certainly on our friend Guma. I'm involved in RCAT over here. Hopefully this does all right. So I was really pleased with the ad to where I got the ad. Let's see if we get the print, and bang, we'll get that print again on my friend RCAT. So now we're waiting at 65s, but if you recall, 665 that is, was that elusive level I couldn't get a print at before we dropped into 40s. The reason I like 40s, well, have a look over here. That was the breakout area. We were whiffling and we were waffling with that 640 area, and then we broke through a big boy on this candle here right at 11:30. So I said to myself, look, if it dips into that 40 penny level, add. I did, and we're printing again nicely back into the high 663. Now 4 showing up possibly close here on the ask. It's going to have to cross 5 though. 665 is where I'm waiting for that print. Here we go. 4s now on the ask. This can continue to ascend. We know that this was an area of trouble last time. We couldn't break through it. Do we break through it this time? So I'm going to keep my eye on this one, pack my patience, do whatever I need to do. I'm going to be looking for that 665 print. Then I'm waiting also at 69s, and bang, we'll take that one out. I'm happy with this one. Let's see. Okay, can we squeeze a little bit? How much shares do we have over here? So I don't want to take it out too quickly and then have Joe make fun of me. So yeah, we're good. We're good in terms of outs over here. We've got some shareage left. So I'm going to keep my eye on that one. RCAT. Now I'm a little bit disappointed with how I traded this one over here, Fifi. I gave it to 48s. The only reason I gave it to 48s because it was an area crest over here, Fabian. This 148 level. I said to myself, if it dips back down there, get out. That was a mistake. That was obviously a mistake there as it moves right back into the high. So I'm disappointed with how I executed finally on this one, but I did well initially on it. Still positive on it though. I'll look to do a little bit better. Okay, so that's the look right now on my friend Fifi. We'll keep tabs on RCAT as well. Nothing else for me other than to load up GameStop now on a trading screen. Where's it at, bruh? Here it is. So GameStop is going, and now I'm going to have to figure out how to get in. I've missed my entry. That 670 area was, I think, the good entry there, but now the question is, do we break through that 29? Because it's 28.98 HOD. We're at 80s now, working our way back into that whole dollar level here on GameStop. Again, no catalyst for this one, but it hasn't really had a catalyst as of late, but it's been doing this. This is the daily, okay? This is the daily on GameStop. So as recently as the 25th of October, we were as low as 20.50. Now we're about almost $10 higher. So it's a good look for GameStop, obviously still stuck within that range, but this is kind of smelling like somebody's adding a position. Now, I saw what you guys were writing in the chat. Some people were saying Catman was accumulating options. I haven't got any word of that, but you know, you guys are probably on Reddit a lot more than me, and I know that's where that kind of stuff circulates. So, yeah, I'm gonna have to wait for this to set up, but I'm definitely interested in trading GameStop. No question about it. Let's have a look quickly at the Mag 7. I haven't even loaded up the Mag 7 today. Yeah, okay. Do you have any trades on the Mag 7 right now? I mean, to me, they're looking like bizarre. I mean, they take VWAP, some of them take VWAP, some of them reject off VWAP, kind of just going with the flow of the market, I guess. I don't know.
No, I haven't really been looking at the Mag 7.
You're muted. Yep. There you go.
Haven't been looking at the Mag 7 as of right now. I was actually looking at Qualcomm though. This one was very interesting. Why I was looking at this, because usually what I like to do is sometimes I call myself a lazy trader. And so what I like to do is I just go on the trending ticker list. I take a look through here, look at some of, the most volatile stocks. And I saw Qualcomm, and so I was looking at that, and this was a nice setup for me. I like the fact that it was rejecting off of that VWAP level, and I was trying to get in around that 156, I think it was around 155, 156 level, but then I kind of, I missed the move, and so I wasn't getting filled, and I'm like, you know what, it is at a lower price level, and so I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna have to get in a little bit lower than I anticipated, but it worked out. And so if I go here to Qualcomm, let's see here, and I bring it up on the chart, let that load there, I got in here at 154.92. I was really trying to get in around here, 156, missed that, but then I got out around 154.34. So I'm gonna hit that bang again because we are going 3 for 3 today.
Whoa.
And so, yes.
Okay.
Yes, so I'm feeling good. I'm feeling spicy today,
Nice.
but everything's, working out. And so I really like that. Took a little bit of a scalp. I feel like I could have held it for a little bit longer, but I'm a scalper, and so I'm gonna stick to it because your plan needs to be consistent. Even if there is opportunities, I feel like I just like to be, very uniform in how I trade, and that's what kind of keeps me in check. And so that's what I'm going to do, because sometimes when I'm like, oh, I'll let it run a little bit, and then I just don't follow my rules, and then I get into tilt, and then it's just like a whole cycle. And so I'm keeping myself in check and going with the plan. And so that's what we're going to do here. What else do we got here? What are you guys looking at? Coin. Why? Let's see what my girl Coin is doing.
Did you hear about Brian Armstrong possibly having a position with Trump's administration?
I heard that. I heard that, yeah.
A lot of the crypto people were obviously courting him. So he's probably, a lot of them are in his good books. You know what I mean? Because with crypto being...
Do you think it's true, though? I saw a headline that Trump was trying to buy Coinbase. Is that real? I was trying to look into that.
I don't know about the Coinbase one. I did hear rumblings on that. He is picking up BAKKT or whatever backed, under ticker BKKT. It's a crypto company. And that one went nuts the other day because of that, right? Look, DJT's picking up.
Oh, DJT.
Yeah, it's going to be apparently, according to Financial Times, an all-stock deal. But I did hear rumblings about Coinbase. Don't know if he can do that, though. What is Coinbase market cap, man? That's a big boy company right now, right? Let me have a look.
Switch over.
Tell you. 77 billion.
Wow.
That's heavy.
That's a lot.
That's heavy.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see how, that goes. I'll keep my watchful eye out for, the news on that. But is it kind of set in stone for the backed?
I don't think it is, because backed refused to answer questions about the report. And they're like, we're aware of the report. We have no comment.
Okay, fair.
Thing,
yeah, they're going to keep their lips sealed until, there's more information there. But I think that's very interesting. And I think that that's very, bullish for the crypto community and crypto-related stocks. But right now, Coin's bleeding. It's not doing too well. I mean, it's bleeding, girl. And so, right now I'm looking short, to be honest. I feel like I kind of missed the move at key price levels. If I were, if I had eyes on this, levels that I would be looking at was like the break of this level here, like near VWAP. Maybe, we had this distinct kind of rejection here, 324, just gets up to that level, had that shelf, and then so I would be looking around there, kind of missed that, and then you guys know me, the break of the day's low, and so I missed that here. That was at 309.38, and so a couple of minutes, that happened at 12:08. But I feel like I missed the move, and I feel like I need to move on to the next trade, just because I feel like those are the key levels that I was kind of looking at. How about you, Sharif?
I want to talk about Mara. I'm going to have more details on this in a new video that we're going to be releasing, I think, from the entire Trader TV crew, the traders anyway. We're going to be dropping like these videos, I think, weekly about how we feel about certain setups in the week ahead. And I want to talk quickly here about Mara. And this is nothing you guys haven't heard from me before. About $15 as support, as well as 19. 19 flips. Sometimes it's support, sometimes it's resistance. Right now, I'm going to submit to you guys its support. So look what we did here with the flaming garbage Mara. And because I only say that because I lost money on it. So I hope nobody gets offended or anything like that. But here it is. Look how long we did. 19 dance all throughout here as support. Then look what happens over here. We're using 19 as resistance for a while, for a hot minute. This is August all the way to when we took it over here in early November. And then look, you can't have strict levels with Mara, but it will reclaim the level within 1 or 2 or 3 trading days. Here's the point. Look at this monster move into almost 27, right down into 18. Look how quickly it reclaims 19, literally the next day. So 19 is an important level right now on Mara if we can continue to hold above it in the way that we did over here. 15 was a hell of a level. I mean, you don't need to be a chartered market technician to see how many times we've interacted with 15 basically since September of 22. And the rule about breaching levels and reclaiming or super quick also applies to 15 equally as much as it does to 19. Case in point, over here, April this year, we break 15, boom, right above 15 again. Case in point, August 5th, Black Monday, boom, we're right above it. Then we dipped above it, or below it, excuse me. Early September, right back above it. We dance with it over here. We hold it strictly. So in the way that we were defending 15, looks to me like we might use 19 like that now. And whatever 15 and 19 are coming into play for, I don't know. They're not really levels that 20 to me seems like the better level, but I don't get to choose anyway. So that's what I'm seeing right now on Mara. We'll do a more thorough video about it. But yeah, that 15 level was very interesting to me on Mara. I didn't participate in it. 19 is also interesting to me. Obviously, I haven't yet participated, but I don't think the trade is done yet. From another perspective, though, Mara, it just seems very tough to trade in terms of, let's just say, a longer-term swing, because it has these outsized moves and no discernible direction. You could kind of see a little bit of a higher low situation if you start back in March of 2020, which is kind of a selective area to start, but it's incrementally higher lows, but you would have to deal with all of this. So I would say, we'll get more nuance in the video, but I would say look at Mara as more of a range trade until you get a decided breakout. Until then, I wouldn't trade it as a breakout trade because it's been so bamboozling as of late. So 12% almost thereabouts today on Mara, 11.88 or so. So good luck on Mara on the day, but I will definitely give you more information on that. And bang, we take out 69s on my friend our cat up here. So we're gonna set up another one over here at 75s. We're still doing well. Oh, why? Ram, our cat? Ram cat. Oh, my bad. Because it has the word cat, whereas this one only has the first letter of your name. So that's why you were not thought of when I was looking at our cat. So sorry about that, Ram. She gets very sensitive, eh? She doesn't like that.
I'm not getting into this one.
I always try to drag a Dara in, and Dara is always defending Ram, and I don't know why. Ram is a sinister being, right? Like, she will keep her foot on your throat to get ahead in life, right?
I believe it.
No, I'm just joking. I love Ram. We're just joking.
We love her around here. Love you, Ram.
Right? And Dara's always defending her, man. It's that feminina thing. I'm telling you. That's what it is.
Girls gotta stick together.
That's what it is.
There's not a lot of us on this floor, so come on now. We gotta stick together.
Good point. So yeah, we just took that little bit out there, Ram at 670 on RCAT. Looking at GameStop though, man, as it works its way right back near that high. Again, these topping tail candles are not operative on these small cap gappers, especially when they manifest above key areas of support. Look at that 10. It doesn't even come back into the 10. Topping tail or not, it didn't even breach a 10 exponential. And here we go. We're about 10 pennies away from the high on GME, but someone in the chat, I think it was 4XAU, gave me a wise piece of advice. Look, I don't like trading GameStop because I don't really know what's going on with it, and it doesn't trade exactly like a small cap gapper. So he's like, look, wait for that break and take of 30 and a hold of that $30 level. I don't know if we get that 4XAU. That's kind of the way that this bad boy trades. And you can see that by looking at the daily. Here's what I mean by that. Look at, like, you know, we come into the highs somewhere around 30, and then there's a big boy sell-off. And it didn't happen once, twice, or be thrice. It happened a bunch of times where we work our way near 30 only to sell off aggressively. To be fair, though, the other side of that coin, this candle today, the one we're on today, broke above the candle that really kept us down, which was the one we put on Veterans Day or Remembrance Day on this side, which was November 11th, which got into the high of 28.79. Today, it's 28.98, but your point still well taken. We're still below 30. I'm going to pack my patience on this one. We'll keep an eye on GameStop, and if anything, we'll just report about it to you guys. If I don't end up trading it, I'll let you know exactly what's going on, so if anybody's interested in trading it, you will have the information. Hey, what are you looking at?
For sure. I was just flipping through some tickers, looking for some opportunities. And so, you know, I was looking at coin because someone mentioned that as well. And so my guy 2NY Cent, he was saying that, you know, he struggled with trading Coinbase and because of its volatility. And I say VWAP won't let you down. The break of the pre-market high or the break of the pre-market low in the morning a lot of the time won't let you down as well. You know, a word of advice that I like is when it's getting to VWAP, when it crosses that VWAP, I just use this as kind of a shelf. I use VWAP as kind of like a blanket where once it breaks that VWAP level, so say it breaks this level here, I'm just risking either to above VWAP or the day's high, and so that's what I'm looking at here, or just the break of the day's low, and usually those are kind of key points, key pivotal points where I feel like you can get good opportunities for the scalp. I mean, it can bamboozle you if you are kind of holding for a longer period of time, like say 30 minutes, an hour. But I find that when you find those key levels where, you know, there could be like a little bit of a squeeze play or a continuation, then I find that those levels are pretty good there. What else do we see here? Someone is saying VIX, long VIX. Let's see what that's doing there. I haven't really seen this ticker, so I'm not really going to get into that. Someone's saying NQQQ. That's not something I'm looking at either. Okay, so we're just going to go to the TQQs because that's what I'm kind of familiar with. So we'll get into that, TQQs. Let's see what's going on here. So I'm just going to get rid of this line that I had before. And this is kind of bamboozling to me, to be honest. Usually the TQQs give me like a definitive kind of direction, but it's kind of like we're going through the waves here. And so it is breaking through VWAP here, but it looks like it's still trying to ascend to the upside. And so what I'm kind of seeing here is that we do have this we have these bounces off of this trend line here. And so it's looking like, you know, it's trying to get to the upside. I do want to see a break of the 76.75 or 76.66 to kind of see, you know, more of a directional move. But right now, it's not necessarily like consolidating like in a barcoding action, but I do kind of see like indecision. And so I'd be a little bit wary, but I do see like this bounce off of this trend line, but I'm still not convinced yet until we hit that 76.66 level. What else do we got here? Mara is so much fun today. Let's take a look at Mara again. It seems like you guys are really focused on her today. And yeah, I'm still waiting for this break of this high because when we were sitting at this level around 2240, when someone had mentioned it, you know, even though it was holding that 9 EMA, I still wanted to see that blast to the upside, breaking through those days highs, because that gives me more confirmation that this will actually continue. And so when it doesn't reach those levels, I kind of get a little bit worried, because it's just like, if the move is truly what you think it is, it should break that day's high. And so it didn't reach there. It got to 2280, and then it's kind of on its way down. The next level that I'm looking at for a possible dip buy is 2167. I want to see how it reacts at this level, because, you know, the true trend that we're looking at is really not this. I feel like it's more of this level, but I feel like, you know, it gets to VWAP, and then we have that rejection. And so I want to see that again. Even though we have this trend line, I do want to see the reaction at that VWAP level, because I feel like that will really tell us, is this move going to continue or not? And so I feel like getting in at the market price, I mean, you can risk to these lows or even VWAP as a low, but I don't know, it's just not in my playbook to do so. J. Colby Waters, he's saying SPY. Let's take a look at SPY. Let's see here. Same kind of action as the TQQs. We do kind of have like the support level here, 585.60. And so it is approaching that VWAP level, which I typically like, but it's just, I don't know, in my experience, this is kind of like not what I want to see. I want to see like, what I usually like is when there is a bottom around 10 to 1030, and then it just clearly trends up, but it just gets to VWAP. It kind of makes a base 585.65. It tries to get up to VWAP again, and it really can't hold above VWAP. And so I don't really like that. If I do see the hold above VWAP again, and it breaks through 587.80, let's say, or even what I'm really looking at is this 588.68, I really want to see the break of that to really give me more confirmation. But we do have a super chat for you, Sharif, FBRX.
Saw that. Looking at it right now. Shout out to SP Williams, and again, thank you very much for the super chat, my friend FBRX. Let's go. This is going to be the daily look. Oh, baby. That's a good looking chart. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, look, it's a big down move, but we've got a big day today. And most notably, what I see first and foremost, we took out the 200 exponential moving average, and we have been unable to do that at any point all the way back, as far as this chart will show, March 2023.
They're saying Mike in the chat.
I am sorry about that. Yes, okay. So FBRX, I was talking to the Katina man, so that's why I had my mic muted there. I do apologize. Ram, can we show the chart? Okay. FBRX, guys, what we're looking at right now. Eh? Oh, it's no worries. FBRX, guys. So we're looking at this one. This one took the 200 exponential moving average for the first time since all the way back until February 2023 when this chart is showing. So we've taken that level out. That's an important level. Good look. This one did reverse split. It looks like 1 to 25 back in September to regain compliance. Let's now look at the daily. Okay, so it's a good look move up. FBRX, this one I've already got up on the side chart. Why is this one moving up though? Let me find out. Is there a headline? Is there a headline? I don't see it, and that's fine. It doesn't matter though. It's bull flagging and it's holding above the volume weighted average price. Look, there seems to be a range of importance here. 1450 seems to be that level that gets defended. It doesn't seem to make its way down into 14. It halted to no end to start the day, but it looks like it's calmed down now. Let's count the halts over here. So we start halting. We down halt to open the day. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 halts, but now we're definitely a little bit more calm. The problem on the one is we're still putting in lower lows and lower highs. So a bit of a downward channel, finding support, lo and behold, right at that 14 VWAP level. Let's see if we can take something above 1650. Why am I looking at 1650? Well, it's the area crest. We know we were selling up a storm down there because we popped into 1650 and then dropped into 14. So let's see if this curl up here is more than a range trade being played in a downward channel, but rather an actual breakout trade above 1650. So I'm interested. It's already on my side chart. You know, I always keep these small cap gappers up on the side chart, but it's got to break above that level. Now, I missed it. Obviously, VWAP would have been an interesting entry for me on this name, but I didn't have eyes on that, so we'll keep tabs on this one. 1470, look at that. Bro, it just popped into 1583, right back into 1414. I ain't trading that. That ain't for me. It's too volatile. I didn't even look at the spread on the trading screen, but I can just tell you by how the chart is trading, that ain't my cup of tea. Like, it's hard to manage risk on this, right? When you're dropping $1.50 quick as you like, it's a tough one. So I'm going to steer clear of that. Doesn't mean it's not tradable, but it's just not for me. All right, shout out to Scott H., who brought to my attention Riot Blockchain and the triple bottom that's manifesting right now at $12. Shout out to Scott, small cap gapper, trader extraordinaire. But my humble opinion, Riot's playing for second today, and all these miners are playing for second because it's a big boy Mara up almost 14%. Then you got the likes of HUD 8 down to Riot Blockchain 0.8. We got, what else? We have, where is the other miner? CleanSpark, 0.5% in negatory land. So it's really Mara that's the king of the bunch today. And I got in for the range trade into 12, whether that manifests or not. Small size here, ready, wet, or beak for some profits there, but that ain't the move. I'm waiting for 24. Is not going to give this that much room, though, guys. Where's the other trade? Oh, baby. We're taking out highs here on my friend RCAT. It's time to wet the beak here at 80s. Whether or not we get that 80, we're showing 79s, though. On the ask, I'm waiting for this one to move into 80. Shout out to Doja Cat, Katina, man. Our cat, I call it Doja Cat, but it's called our cat. Whatever. I'll call it whatever I want. Here it is. So we're going to wait for this one to cross into 80. See we get there. I'm waiting, though. Where are we long? We're long 43s, and bang! We take out that now, showing 82s there on the ask. So how many more shares do we have left? I have to check. We got one more out on this bad boy here, so we're gonna let this one run and see where it wants to go. RCAT doing real well here, guys. Higher highs, higher lows, consistent name up 44% and change. Let's flip back to our friend. Well, we'll see if it's our friend or not. Raya blockchain. No, it's not my friend right now. Since they were 2 pennies out of the money, and I don't feel that. So, no. Look, I got into this one because I like the range, but to be quite honest, I was 15 pennies ahead of the range. The range is $12. I got in at 18 pennies ahead of the range. I got in at 12.18. So we're not going to give this one that much room. If it wants to hold up above where I'm currently trading, fine. Otherwise, I'll get stopped out on the break of 10, then I'll get back in at 12 if it wants, because there's a triple bottom of note at 12. And here's what we're seeing. So shout out to Scott H. 12 defend, and then what was this? 12.03. So there you go. We'll keep an eye out on that. How you doing over there?
Yeah, so someone in the chat said SMCI. So I'm looking at it. I'm looking at this short, to be honest. Why do I like that short? It's below VWAP. For anyone who's new to the channel, a lot of the time I let VWAP determine my bias. Anything below VWAP, I'm looking short. Anything above VWAP, I'm looking long. And so it has to be at key price levels, though. It can't just be because it's at VWAP. No, it needs to have a significant point. And so the two kind of things that I look at is the day's low and then also the interaction with the 9 EMA. And so when I'm looking at that, I like to go to the 5 minute here. And so as we can see, we can see that this 9 EMA, notice how the candles are kind of closing below this 9 EMA and it's trailing that 9 EMA. It gets to that 9 EMA and then it can't really hold, it can't really close above that level. And so as long as it does that, I'm looking short. I don't necessarily want to get in here at that market price, but if I am looking for the short, I'm looking for the break of this level, 25.77, 25, or what is it here? Yeah, 25.83. And so what we're seeing here, we're seeing a little bit of a bounce. And so that's why I don't like to get in prematurely, because you can get bamboozled. I'm not a person that likes to time, the bottoms. And so, there's a lot of people here that would say, okay, this is a double bottom. Let me, start to get in. But I look at things a little bit differently, and I do want to see the break of this here. If, as time goes on, if I do see it kind of ascend, then I would be looking long at the cross of that VWAP level, but I just want to wait for more confirmation there. So that is my look on that. Someone also mentioned AMD. You guys have been spamming AMD in the chat. So let's see what our girl is doing here. Don't really like this, to be honest. It's kind of like ranging a little bit. I mean,
you don't like the advanced money destroyer?
No, I just don't like it. It's just kind of just like chopping and churning between the lows and VWAP. And so, this could have been a good play at 1136. And even here, it looks like it's trying to get to that VWAP level here from this level. But I think for my play personally, I would be waiting to see what it does at this VWAP level, because it seems that it bounces and it's like a magnetic effect. I think Obi says that a lot,
yes,
right?
He does.
Yeah, and so
so
it gets to that level, and I want to see what it does, and then I'll determine, what I do from here. If it breaks that level, this is kind of the key level that I'm looking at. This 138.52. If we can break that, then my look is going to be long on this one. But I'm not a person to necessarily get in at that middle. I like that VWAP level. I like the break of kind of a consolidation. So the two levels that I'm looking at here is 136.32. I want to see, I'll make this red to kind of signify that this is the point where I want to go short. And then this is the point where I want to go long. And then this is kind of the middle ground where I see what we do from here. This is kind of, I'll keep it, let's say we'll make it orange. And so this is kind of like my indecision kind of level. Let me just make that here. So this is kind of the level where I let VWAP decide what the price action is doing at this level. I let it it allows me to determine what I'm going to do from there. I don't like to say I'm going to go long or I'm going to go short. I let the market tell me what it's going to do. And I think that that's a kind of better outlook to have on things, because when you anticipate, you can be wrong. In this game, you can be wrong. You could do all of the chart, all the technical analysis in the world, but you have to look at what is the market doing right now, and you have to follow, what it's telling you. How about you, Sharif?
Well said, Stea. I mean, straight up, that's how it works. Yeah, sometimes you come in with a plan and the market gives you a gesture. And the gesture is usually an unflattering gesture, and you got to go with the market, and you don't get to dictate the pace. So well said there, Stea. Look, we wet our beak here some more on Riot blockchain at 26s. I'm layering my outs. I got to tell you, I don't believe a whole lot in this trade. And lack of the C word here, not the C word you guys are thinking about, it's the conviction. Lack of conviction can be trouble in a trade. So you have to have conviction, otherwise you'll be the weak hand. And right now, I got to tell you the truth, I'm the weak hand here, because I'm lacking conviction in this trade, because it is not the catalyst that I'm looking for. Mara's the one running. The other miners are doing bupkis, but I'm trying to play the range on this bad boy, so I've layered my outs in a way that helps me get out of trouble. And by the way, guys, so you guys are killing it in the voting. Over 1,400 of y'all voted today. That is fantastic. That kills yesterday's 1,100 that we got in the morning. So I'm really happy with how you guys are responding. But I got to tell you, we got a new poll up. Remember, we're doing two, right? One in the beginning of the show, one in the second half of the show. And it's all going to be for you guys to get your picks on so that we have a focused afternoon rundown, baby. Right now, here are the options. You got Donald John Trump, DJT there at the bottom. You got Coinbase. Satay and I were just talking about Brian Armstrong and how he's going to meet possibly with Donald Trump. And, who knows whether he plays a part in that administration. We got Meta on there. It's having a good day. And then GameStop is running, guys. So we had to throw GameStop on there for everybody. Get your pick in. I'm going to tell you what I'm voting for. I'm going to vote for Coin, because I want to see what the strong man does with the other man there. People got upset when I called him the orange man. I was calling a term of endearment. People were thinking it was pejorative. It wasn't, right?
He is. He has a little tan on. Nothing wrong with that.
Tan on. I have no problem with that, man. Anyway, guys, so get into the chat, guys. Vote for whatever ticker there of the four you want, and then we're going to take the top two from these bad boys, and we'll throw on the top three from the other two. So shout out to you guys. You guys are killing it already. 200 votes coming in fast and furious there. Can't thank you enough. Again, the afternoon rundown is nothing without you guys, literally, right? Absolutely. So we need you guys to vote. So here's the look right now. We got a super chat. Ooh, okay, $5 from a main man, Random Oddities there. Sharif, how soon after a reverse split can an ETF be split again? Regarding SMST, which is down 60% since splitting 3 days ago. Brother, I'm not even going to try to pretend like I know the answer to that question. I don't know, okay? I'm just going to tell you flat out, I don't know the answer to that question, but here's what I'll do. I promise you I will respond by the end of the show, okay? So I'm going to do my research while Satay is dropping hot lines during when she's talking. I will find out, but as of right now, I do not know. And I will look into that for you. Thank you again for the super chat. I'm copying and pasting your question so that I do not forget to do that. So we're going to throw that into the screen over here. Excuse me. There we go. And we're going to throw that up on the side so that I do not forget. But thank you for your question. And again, thank you for your super chat. I will find out for you in a hot second. Now, Riot blockchain. We've taken out some decent shareage over here. Now, the next little area I'm waiting at, 1230. But let me tell you, no part of this trade is going to go against me. I've already moved up my stop to 18s. Again, I'm lacking the C word on this trade. So as a result, I'm going to trade a little bit differently. So we're doing okay. It's not the best, but we'll look to eke out some more profits here if we're able to. GameStop is on its way to $29. And here we go again, up 5%. Umpteen amount of topping tails into 29. Not topping tails, touches into 29. all of which have rejected. Currently, it is still $28.99 HOD on GME, but you don't need to be a chartered market technician to see the umpteen amount of higher lows and higher highs. This bad boy is an upward channel right now, really looking to take out faces. So we'll see if GameStop can get going here. Let's find out what the shortstop is. Or shortstop, calm down, bro. It's not baseball. What's the short interest on GameStop? 9.25%, Fabian, which is not bad, you know, given that where we've been lately on this. So 9.25% on GameStop. What'd you say, by the way? I didn't hear. Say it again. It's not an up dog. Okay, I like it. I like it. I like it. He's feeling whimsical today. I'll give him that. I'll give him that. Shout out to the Chilean Nightmare. He's always killing it on the ones and twos. Yeah. So this one over here, RCAT. We're gonna let this one go. So I've only got one more out on this bad boy. So this one either takes out 694 and weasels into 7, or I get stopped out for the remaining amount on RCAT. Keeping an eye on GME, bang, we take out that position on Riot. Okay, so we get that fill at 30s on Riot blockchain. Let's hang out at 35. This is good. There, we'll hang out over there, see if we can get a print up on that area. Let's see what else everybody is talking about. QUBT, says Misham. Let's have a look at Qubit. So in case you guys haven't been with us for a few days, quantum computing has been running lately. And I'm not sure why, although I very much like the fact that that's running because it's an important field. What's that, Fabian? Better catch it. He said it's running. Yeah, better catch it. Fabian's killing it. Let's look at QUBT. So as you can see here, we really got the volume big boy there on the 13th. So that was last week. We gave back a little bit of it, obviously. Let's do some Finabachis over here and find out where we are from the breakout to the top. Where are we in the retracement cycle? So no respect really for fibs here. It looks like it breached, half, 2/3, 1/3. That's kind of no man's land there. So nothing doing for me on that. But we are up on the day. It's a good look right now. QUBT. We started out at 260. Now we're really moving up here. 372 HOD. Let's go to the 5. Beautiful look here, guys. Okay, this is going on the side chart. QUBT has earned its way onto the side chart. We're going to take off AGFY because it's doing nothing, and we're replacing it with QUBT. I'm interested, though, at 345, 350, guys. If this can come down there, I will be looking to get a starter position. How come? Because it's the top end of the area over here. So this implied balance high that we printed at 930, rejected off 345. I'd look for an area of previous resistance to act as support. It may already have. Because look, how we weaseled up into 367, and then lo and behold, we dropped right into 345, and it got held up there. So I'm going to keep my eye on QUBT. Do we do it now, Fabian? It's okay. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Guys, I got to tell you about a fantastic company. It's called Trade the Pool. Are you ready to take stock trading skills to the next level? Trade the Pool X-Trader TV stock trading competition is coming soon, and it's bigger than ever. From December 2nd to December 6th, you'll receive $200,000 in buying power to make your best moves and compete for incredible prizes. And here's the best part. The top 20 places win, so there's plenty of opportunity to secure a reward. So gear up for this intense 5-day trading showdown and prove yourself against other traders. Whether you're aiming for the top spot or looking to make your mark, this competition is designed to push you to your trading peak. The countdown is on, ladies and gentlemen. Do not miss out. Click the link in the description or scan that QR code on the bottom right of your screen. In case you're wondering who this company is, if you guys are with us in the morning, we got Mitch Hoke always coming on and dropping hot lines about what he's looking at from a swing trading and an intraday trading perspective. He's from that company. So scan that QR code or click the link in the description, as I mentioned. So have a look there. There it is. 20 places to win December 2nd to December 6th. Be there or be square.
Sounds good. Yeah, use that opportunity. Yeah. Use it. But someone in the chat, so I was going for this Mara break because I did say I was looking at that break of that high and it bamboozled me. But you know what? I didn't take too much of a loss on it. But we'll be honest here. Like, I took a stab at it. It didn't do the strong break that I thought it was going to do. And so I just hopped out there. And so a lot of the time when I am going for those breaks, I got in around 23.03.
GME.
And so when I'm,
okay, go ahead.
Yeah, when I'm waiting for that break, a lot of the time I want to see it go right then and there. And so I had my stop loss at 22.89. And so it is still holding, but I'd rather just get out and try again rather than to hold it against me. And so it took a little bit of a loss there. But I think that if it does get up there again, I want to see that push, that real push, and then get in there. But just had to hop out of that. And then someone said QQQs. Can I take a look at that? And of course. And so with this one, I like the fact that it's holding above VWAP. It's slowly trying to get there. I like the fact that it's at this psychological level. It's at 563s. And so this is typically like the pivotal level that I like because it should tell us everything that we need to know. Are we going to reject off of this? It's not exactly at 500, but are we going to reject off of like 501, 502, or are we really going to make that true move? And so typically I really like this VWAP level, but I want to wait for a little bit more confirmation. It does look like it's holding strong. And so, yeah, I think that this is looking like a decent long. My stop losses would be maybe around under this $500 level, 49.99, 49.98, or then if you want to give it a little bit more room because, you know, I feel like this is the pivotal point to tell you where you're wrong, 499 pretty much is the two levels that I would look at for a stop loss if you are getting in at these levels. And so, yeah, that's what I'm looking at here. What else are you guys looking at?
Look at GameStop.
GameStop, yeah.
29.
GameStop, okay, yeah. Let's look at this GameStop.
She does it so reluctantly. She's like, I don't want this trash.
I mean, it's just not something that I usually trade, right? Because like the chart, I don't know, like how, if you're looking at this, how do you trade it? Because I like those big green candles. I don't really like the choppy, you know.
I feel you. But you got to admit there's higher highs and higher lows.
It's beautiful. It's a beautiful trade, but like how do you weasel your way in?
That's a good question. Yeah, it's a tough one. It really is. And that's why I'm not in it yet, because I'm finding it tough.
Okay, fair. Because like me, I would be looking at like, you know, this price here, the break of like, you know, this local high, 28, but then we missed that. And then, sorry, I was looking at this level, like this is where I'd usually get in, or at VWAP, the retracement back to VWAP, and then we kind of missed these levels. They are blasting up to the upside, so is it in your playbook to really catch it at these highs while it's blasting?
Can I tell you, I would ideally like a 29. We had one area over here, guys, where we rejected 29, another prolonged area of chop and churn at 29, then you had the break and take of 29. So to me, 29 was operative. But I think it's unrealistic for me, given the amount of eyes that are looking at this 29, for me to expect to come into 29, 29.01, even 29.02, because there's going to be others who are more exuberant than me. They're going to be looking for a dip into 29, buy it up at 7s, 5, 6, whatever, right? Okay. And that's kind of what we got there. Look what we did. So we weaseled up into 27s or 28s, and then we dipped into 5s. And so you didn't get 29, and you didn't get it for that long either, because again, a lot of people are looking. You guys are all talking about it in the chat. And what percentage are we of day traders in the world? I don't know, like fraction, obviously. So there's a lot of other people looking at this as well that want to take it off 29. If I'm seeing it, they're seeing it. So that's how I got in, Satya. But I'm still kind of lacking a little bit of conviction in the strat. I don't like trading GameStop. I don't like trading AMC. I like my small cap gappers, but they're a little bit different than these ones. These are established, meme names, right? Yeah, for sure. Yeah, those meme names are a little bit harder, to kind of read. And so I can see they are moving, but sometimes, if it's not within your playbook, then sometimes it's just better to just look at something else that, a setup, works better for you. And so, that is key advice there. But I was looking at Mara here. I'm still waiting on it. I'm looking at it. I'm interested because it's breaking those highs, but
I'm still a little bit struggling with, how it's reacting with those highs. I feel like I need to give it a little bit more room. I do get a little bit finicky when it reaches those highs because I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't want it to just reject, and then, I don't have a clear out level. So I don't know. I'm keeping my eye on it right now. I'm not going to take a stab at it because it's just not reacting the way I would like to see it. Though, but we'll keep a close eye. So that's what we're doing there. What else do we got here? Someone's saying snap up 1%. Crystal S. Let's look at your snap. Let's look at that. Oh, this is just very ugly to me, to be honest. I mean, for a day trade, yikes.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't like it, to be honest. Let's look on the 15-minute here. Yeah, it's just too rangy for me, to be honest. I mean, it looks like it's trying to get up to that VWAP level, but just not enough volume for me, to be honest. Maybe a level that you could look at is the break of 1065, maybe around 1066. I kind of want to see what it does around there to really have that volume coming in. Let's maybe look out on the time of sales and see what's kind of going on there, just because I feel like the chart is not really telling us everything that we need to know. This is on New York. Let's see here.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no.
A test. This is a test. Okay. It's nobody's kidnapped. Everything's fine.
So I'm seeing a lot of like mid prints here. And so, yeah, I don't really like to see that on the time of sales. I like to see that rush of green, that rush of red. And so I'm not seeing that right now. But what else are you guys looking at? Everyone's saying GME,
yeah,
GME.
it's breaking highs, man. It's going.
It's going without us. Oh, my gosh. So, yeah, what's your take on that?
Look, Satya, I'm not chasing this. I'm just I'll report on it, but I'm not going to chase it. $30 likely incoming. The Katina man brought up a really good point here while Satya was dropping hotlines. He's like, look, bro, the overall market's really flat right now, likely in anticipation of the monster NVIDIA reporting after the bell. Make sure to catch that with Neil on the Market Recap show, by the way. And so, the likes of these more meme stocks could get going. GME, some others as well. So, yeah, trade these with kind of that through that lens in the sense that, to me, it's an intraday trade. I've got no interest in this at all as a long-term or a swing or anything like that. But if it sets up the right way, we'll intraday trade it. Now, back to RCAT. We're moving into highs again, baby. 685. We're long 43s. I've got my next beak wetter at 94s to front run possible psychological resistance at 7. So that's a look there. And then we're doing well, believe it or not, on Riot Blockchain, despite the fact that I had low conviction in this trade. Shout out to Scott H, man. You called it. I executed on it. You called it. You're probably doing a lot better than me. I think you were long from way before I was long. Shout out to you. I kind of had your trade there, executing on your idea. So I don't usually do that a whole lot. But today it's working out. Now I've set up my next little beak wetter to account for this area crest over here at 1245. We're printing 36s. I'm not taking anything else until 45. So we'll keep an eye out on Riot Blockchain, see if it continues ascending. Great hold off 12 though. Shout out to Scott, man. Good call there. What else we got? Let's bring in some of the side charts. Oh, there's another one that's moving, baby. Chris, CHRS. Look, this one's a little bit suspect in terms of volume. So it's done 4.83 million shares. So on face value, you think that's a lot. But then you look at the price. You're like, okay, this thing started at $82, trading at $109 right now. Is that a lot? Not really, okay? So here's the details on it, and then we'll talk about the technicals. $125 million market cap with a float of 110 million shares, so certainly not small. And let's find out what the short float on this is. Ooh, it's a good one here, 28.75% on CHRS. So now it behooves us to do some charting. Oh, it's always these kind of stocks, dog. So always.
Your favorite.
Yeah. They always end up looking like this. They're never up and to the right, Satya. They're always down and to the right.
They're always sloping.
Excuse me. So this one, it looks like it might have been getting a letter from the NASDAQ soon, as it did weasel below that dollar, I think back on the mid-September or late September or whatever. It's back above it right now, so it's marginally above that dollar with that 109 high. So, you always hear me say these are different trades north and south of a dollar. Here's the thing. This one, to me, in my humble opinion, did defend a dollar. Look how long we chopped. This is the 5-minute. Look how long we chopped and churned at that $1.04. So certainly someone was buying it off that dollar. right? When do we get into that dollar? Let's just say, for example, 11:20. So the better part now of an hour and 40 minutes, all of which have defended that dollar. Every single print has defended that dollar. It's not the biggest mover. You're going to have to size up into this to make any real money because you're not getting a big notional move. But the fact of the matter is, it's holding above $1 and it's putting in higher highs and higher lows. So it's up 30%. Does it have a catalyst? None that I can see, quite frankly. No, nothing from today or even yesterday. All technical entries like breakout, short-term bullish event, stuff like that. Nothing news related. So CHRS, it looks good. Chart pattern is excellent, but in terms of volume, there's some stuff that I have reservations about. Let's have a look at GME. Let's see if this one is continuing to run or what the deal is. Yeah, man, it's going. It's at highs, 29.40. So this one looks like it's on its way, possibly into that $30 area. It really is about whether we encounter a short squeeze where most people are shorted. We know it's about 10%, give or take, of the float that's still borrowed for short right now. It's up 6 3/4. So GME looking real good here, man. Maybe 29.20. Maybe 29.20. I'm gonna put a dip trade. Whatever.
Do it.
Yeah, do it. I'm gonna put it at 25s. Okay. I'm gonna put up a bit of a look. It's small share size. We're gonna try to participate in this so that we got something to cover and to talk about because everybody's talking about GME. So I'm throwing out an order there. Whether I get filled or not, a different story. We're gonna keep an eye on it. It's about 10 pennies from where we're trading right now, so it's gonna have to dip a little bit, which is okay. Let's flip back to Faraday futures. It's not really that far off the highs, about 4 pennies off the highs still. Trading in a good range, defending that 50 penny area for the most part, except over here where I got stopped out. Okay, so now I am in GameStop. Let's see what comes now. Let's set up some orders. Where are we long? We're long 25s. All right, there. Let's set up some orders at the different levels to account for any price pumps. There we go, already getting filled. Let's go. Give me that fill at 35, boy. Come on. Oh, you suck, bro. Did I get the fill? I did get the fill, Satya.
Hey.
A couple of fills already on GME. Now we're layering the orders. Let's layer them up. So I got it at 40. Let's go to 45. I'm going to layer them every 5 pennies. We'll see what comes from this. I'm going to look to defend this, not add. I'll stay in the position unless it breaks 29.10. So we'll give it a bit of room here, Satya. What are you looking at?
Awesome. So my man Gaurav, he brought my attention to Tesla. And so I was looking at this and he was saying, there was a rejection, near VWAP. And so, I don't remember what the question was, but I was looking short because usually below VWAP, I'm looking short. But the kind of key pivotal level that I'm looking at, especially when there is a rejection, but I'm not too sure as to where it may go, is I want to see the break of that 50 cent level. And that's kind of going to tell me, whether or not I want to get involved. As of right now, we are, we're defending strong. I'm looking at TSLA rather than Tesla, but it's defending strong above that 2050 mark. And so even though it's below VWAP, it's not necessarily a price level at this 2065 level that I want to get involved. I really want to see the break of like 2049, 2047 for a little bit more, confirmation, but I still wouldn't necessarily get in there. I do truly like the break of the day's lows. And so this kind of middle ground is where, a lot of people could get chopped up. And so that the two levels that I'm kind of looking at is I'm looking at this level. I'll put it like a 1, which is my VWAP level. I want to see how we react there, if we reject off of VWAP or if we continue forward, or I'm looking at this kind of 50 cent level, seeing what we do there. This is kind of a second point that I'm looking at. And then the third point that I'm looking at is this day's low. And so I want to see the reaction at either of these price levels before I kind of get involved. And so, whatever happens first, it will kind of determine where that's kind of a weird 3, but that is a 3. And so it will determine what I do from here. But this middle ground, it's kind of a little bit, you can get bamboozled, like I said. And so waiting for that VWAP break and seeing what we do from there. Someone is saying, Mara up strong. Of course, Mara. I'm reluctant to look, but let's see what we're doing here. It's still going up. I really wish that I kind of got a better price just so that I wasn't really punching in at these highs, because usually I like that play, but it's just not really, the volume is not really what I want to see personally. But if you are like, if you have like, you know, low share size and you're really holding for like a longer kind of move, I think that that is definitely in play. Maybe a little bit of a dip buy here, 22.83 is a possible, a little bit of a dip buy there, but I don't know, just not a play for me. Very, very sad about that. But that is a great look. Shout out to you guys for bringing that in the chat. Someone's saying GME high of day. Are you still in that?
No.
No, you're not in it?
Out.
Oh, no. See?
That was a mistake. That's why I don't like trading these, man. I put it too tight of a stop. I put it at 11s. I don't know what the hell random number that was, but got literally stopped out bottom wick. Best area to get stopped out. You don't feel any sort of way about that. I'm completely agnostic about the whole thing. So we'll keep an eye out on this one. Look, I'd like for it to come test that $29 area. It looks like I'm not going to get. I'm just going to steer clear of this. We'll report on it, but I'm not going to want to trade it. All right. So here's what I did trade. I did this one pretty good. Took it out right here. RCAT 690. We're done with this trade. We got 43s. We're done at 90s. This one's up 45.5%, and it's still going. So we could see certainly something at 7. No doubt about that. We'll keep tabs on this one as it continues to ascend in price. I'm also very aware that Riot Blockchain is at VWAP, and this trade is no longer to my liking because it is kind of rounded topping off the volume weighted average price. So let's give this one a little bit more term. I don't think I'm gonna want to hold this anymore. We're gonna take it out here. So we're done with that Riot Blockchain. Now we've got no positions on at the moment, but doing well on the day. So we'll look to do a little bit better if we can continue to do that. Look at Chris now. Chris, back into that dollar area, that area that we were talking about. So now let's see if we can weasel into this trade because this is the dollar area. So here we go. We're going to give this to 98s and no more than that. So layer orders possibly here. There we go. Let's see if we can layer some orders there. And then we'll layer them a little bit higher over here. There we go. To account for, what's the high of the day? 109. So we'll set up at 107s. So in CRS, very small share size, not looking really to do a whole lot of damage here, but looking to defend that $1 area. If it breaches one, I'm gone. It's gonna have to hold that $1 area, or at least hold above 98s. So that's what I'm doing there. RCAT, we got it literally top wick, so good look for now, but that is underlined 4 now. I think this one does touch 7. What else are we doing? Let's have a look at the Mag 7, man. I haven't done anything with these today. I haven't even been looking at the Mag. All right, what do we got over here? Let's have a look, see if there's any trends we can discern. Okay, so Meta. Meta, really interesting look right now on META. It's at the volume weighted average price and VWAP and the closing print from yesterday, kind of intersecting. VWAP hanging out 561.23. The closing print 561, like single digits, 6, 7, something like that. So a possibly good area of support. However, on Meta, we're putting in lower highs with a bit of a flat bottom. So this could be a flat bottom break if we really, sell off on the market. Keep your eye out on the NQ. The NQ really gives way. Meta could drop here, but it's at an interesting level. Could be a long or a short. Hard to tell from here, but if I had to guess, it's a bit of a short with these lower highs and the flat bottom. We'll have to wait, see what Meta shows us. Apple, interesting look here on Apple. Weaseled into the volume weighted average price and did a nice little rejection on AAPL. Not much in the way of price action you can discern. Really ugly price action goes green to red. And now we're below VWAP, so AAPL down 0.58. What do we got on these others? Let's look at Tesla. Tesla working into the volume weighted average price at around 339.50. This one has kind of been rejecting off VWAP. Like look at over here at 1050, 1055. We kind of work closely into VWAP. Don't quite make it up there, reject. Same look over here at 1245 and 1250. Work our way into VWAP and then drop down into 337. But we are putting in higher lows since this double bottom over here at 1125 and 1130. Still not really taking out any area highs though. Let's see if this one can work above VWAP. TSLA, keeping an eye on that. Google. I looked to the Katina man today. Here's a little tidbit. Let's see how many the chat can get without cheating. And obviously, there's no way for us to find out if you're cheating or not. How many 5-letter tickers do you guys know that trade on the NQ? So I'll give you 2. One right there, GOOGL, which the Katina man came up with today. I didn't even realize. And then CMCSA, which is Comcast. The only reason I even talked about that is because they're in the news today, looking to divest MSNBS and CNBS and all their other great channels that they have over there at Comcast. Sci-fi included in that as well, Golf Channel. So those are the two 5-letter tickers that I know on the NASDAQ. Which one do you guys know? Let's see if I'll wait for you guys there in the chat. Let me know if you guys know any others. Try to do it without cheating. I haven't really looked, but 5-letter tickers are kind of few and far between on the NASDAQ. You see them a lot in the OTC markets. But yeah, I said Google, Trader Rob. Yeah, so yeah, I'm looking to see if there is anybody talking about it. Not yet. 5 letters. Got to be 5 letters, like Google or Comcast, CMCSA. Can you think of any?
No, not off the top of my head.
Far between, I'm telling you.
No,
right?
I'm not too sure.
No idea. Yeah, people don't know. Here, okay. No DVD. It's not REDDT. It's RDDT. You know that. No, you guys are cheating, man. Neil, is that an actual one? Neil's cheating like crazy. He doesn't care, bro. He's on.
She's just like.
Yeah, go to
look,
Neil's,
man, all I did is I pull up the locator from this morning because that's an easy way to find a bunch of symbols. You got HSPTU.NQ.
What is that?
There was a couple HUBCZ.NQ. The whole point is there's going to be a whole boatload of randos out there.
That is super
Google's the
rando.
only one that I actually know, which Sean already mentioned. But
Yeah.
I'm in Comcast, as you said. But come on, there's probably dozens of them, if
There-
not
sure.
like hundreds of randos.
I just don't
and then
come
every
across
single,
too many of them.
Every single warrant, all the warrants will be with a W.
Ah, yes. Okay. Maybe we should exclude warrants here. But yeah, then it gets a little bit complicated. In any event, let's get back to charting over here, guys. Google basically kind of bear flagging here with some respect for VWAP, but it did breach it over here. So look, I don't have much of a view today on the Mag 7, nor have I really traded them. I think the Katina man is absolutely right when he says the market's in a bit of a holding pattern here, holding its breath for the monster NVDA. We'll see how they do after the bell. GameStop is just going, and it's... Man, I suck. I definitely did not trade that well. All right, so GameStop is really going here, guys. And yeah, good look for GameStop. What are you looking at, Satea?
For sure. So I was looking at Coinbase because Coinbase is bringing some life. And so let's go to Coinbase here. And so it's approaching this VWAP level. Really like the fact that it's trailing that 9 EMA. Shout out to Adam DeLuce. He showed me that 9 EMA type of strategy there. And so I'm straddling the 9 EMA. And so I did get a little bit nervous and I did kind of take a piece off because I wasn't seeing like that true green action. I feel like I got a little bit premature in my entry here. I think what I'm going to do is it is a little bit higher, to be honest. It's about $3 or $4 higher, but I'm going to wait for that VWAP break because that does give me a little bit more confirmation for my setup. And so I do see what I want to see here, but I'm going to follow my rules and hopefully, you know, that plays out for me. And then another trade that I was looking at is AMD. And so I was getting on this trade I was trying to go short here, and so I got in at 32s, 136.32, and then we have this wick here, which I don't necessarily like, but I think that I'm going to hold this trade until maybe the break of this 136.83 level. I feel like if it gets up there, I'm not really liking what I see based off of this kind of wick here. But we'll see how it plays out. I'm not too leveraged with this, but I don't really like this wick here. I don't like that at all. And so what I really wanted to see is kind of like a close. It's 1:13. I guess we have 2 more minutes until this 15 minutes going to close. But just I don't like the reaction. And so when I see that it's not reacting the way I thought it would, there's no point in me holding the trade because what I'm seeing is wrong. And so I think I'm going to do that right now. I'm not liking what I'm seeing. So I'm just going to hop out of that and go to the next trade because the thing is, why waste your money on something that's not working out, you know? And so there's so many tickers, there's so many things that we could look at, so that is what we will do. What else do you guys got here? Someone's saying Mara. Let's take a look at Mara again, even though she let me down, but you know what? She's still blasting off. I knew I would regret this. I knew because I had paper hands with this, to be honest. But shout out to you guys for printing. Shout out to you guys for staying, convicted in this trade. And I wish that I had a playbook for this. Unfortunately, I don't. But maybe I'm going to take a couple of screenshots of this ticker and see how, how I could have played this, in the future if I see a similar setup. What else do we got here? Someone's saying TSLA. I was also looking at that. I had paper hands with that, but let's see what's going on here. Okay, so yeah, we still have like kind of the levels that I was looking at, the 1, the 2, and the 3. So it didn't necessarily get to that 2 level. So I'm looking at this level as my next kind of play. And so we'll get rid of that. And I do want to see what it does at that level. So I think I'm going to set my alert right at that 21. It's coming in strong, so I feel like we could just wait for it. But I want to see what it does at that 21 level, and if I see what I like, then I will get back in there because it is breaking VWAP. And like I've said before, above VWAP, I like to go long. Below VWAP, I like to go short. But really, this is the key pivotal level of how we react at this level. How about you, Sharif?
All right, I'm going to try GameStop again. We're going to do layered orders on this one. I'm getting in small size, initially trying to work my way into this and see, hopefully, maybe we can take it into that $30 area. So here we are. We're long 69s, but I've got planned dollar cost average into that $45 or 45 penny, area. So we'll set up like that and we'll see what we get and we won't get upset. So packing my patience on this one, bit of a sell off now, but this is kind of what I was looking for it to sell off a little bit aggressively here. There we go. Now it's dipping in. There we go. Now we get the fill. So let's see if it holds up above the 10 exponential. It's got to hold above 29.30. What's our cost basis? 59. So we'll set up some orders at 65s right there. There we go. We'll see if this one wants to hold up above that level. Chop and churn city right now on GME. Let's go ahead and throw in our stop for this bad boy. There we go. So we'll throw that on there and look to see if it holds above that 30 penny level. 30 pennies is the 10 exponential moving average on the 5, and it really hasn't breached it all that much. So small share size here. We're going to see if we can do a little bit better on this one. Okay, Chris, defending 1 for now, underline for now. I was a little concerned with this one, though. This was really a slow mover. The only reason I'm involved in this one is for a dollar defend because it's shown me its propensity to defend that dollar intraday. So, that's what I was trying to take this off. Let's see if we can layer our orders and pop up a little bit over here on CHRS. But GameStop continuing to bleed here. Kind of anticipated that would happen. So let's see if it now bounces off the 10. It's very close to the 10, bottoming tail into the 10 exponential on the 5-minute. Let's see if it bounces here, catches a bit of a bid, and then moves its way back into that $30 area where I think a lot of us are anticipating it to reject off. Maybe that would be the Achilles heel of the whole thing, because if a lot of people are anticipating it, then maybe it might not happen. Right now, getting a bit of a bump up off 35 back into 50s here, looking like a bit of a hammer candle with a bottoming tail into that 10 exponential moving average, but you never really know with these ones until you print. So keeping an eye on that one. Lemonade, though, guys, breaking into the highs. LMND. This has been a really, really good trade for the past couple of days. Look at this continuing to go, taking out the high at 47, now on its way into 47.29. We were looking at this one earlier. It's been putting umpteen amount of higher lows, every successive trough higher than its predecessor. So good look right now on this bad boy. What's it called? LMND. So keeping my eye still on GameStop as it zigs and zags, looking for this one to pop back up. Having issues now, though, with that $0.50. Looks like there's some profit taking or some shorting possibly here at the $0.50. Let's see if it can squeeze up into that at least, $0.75. Let's see if we can get that $0.75 or get that $30 bump and whatever. Bump and touch, bump and reject, whatever the case might be. Looking for the $0.50, though, to get taken. Right now, a lot of chop and churn at said $0.50. The bid is showing a little bit above the $0.50. No, actually, it's not. Let's see if it can continue to move up over here. I'm waiting. Where am I waiting? 65, so a bit higher we need here for my first possible print on this. But yeah, it's really having issues with the $0.50. That has me concerned. So we'll see exactly what we do there. QUBT as well, continuing to move up. So this one we were mentioning earlier, it took the pre-market high. Quantum computing is all the rave right now, guys. This has been running lately. They took out that pre-market high at 345, or it wasn't even a pre-market high, actually. That was the implied balance high. 345 on its way to 380. Very respectful of the 10 exponential moving average on the 5. A bit of a retracement now into 3 2/3, a little bit below 2/3. Looking to hold up, though, and it quite has. It has, above the 10 exponential moving average. So keeping my eye on that one, see if that wants to hold up, Satya. What are you looking at?
For sure. So I jumped out of that AMD, jumped back in because I liked what I saw. And so I'm going to weasel my way on over there. And so this is what I was looking at. I got into AMD. I got in at, well, where was my entries here? I got in at 136.19, 136.34, and yeah, the bulk of it was 136.34. And so I got in there around here. And so what I liked about it and why I got back in is I saw this wick, I didn't really like that, but then we rejected off of the 9 EMA, and usually when it rejects off of the 9 EMA, the trend is still strong to kind of the downside. It didn't necessarily push up the way that I thought it would. If it broke that 9 EMA and closed above the 9 EMA, then I would say this is a change in trend and I won't get back in. But the fact that we hit that 9 EMA, 136.58, and then we crossed this wick again, I didn't necessarily wait for it to cross completely when I entered, but I just like the fact that it was kind of going to the downside and it was near that day's low. And so, I put my hands together and I was just like, this is the play that I've been waiting for. I'm not going to miss that opportunity. And so I got in. And so I'm going to show you guys my chart here. So this is like my initial entry, got in, got out, didn't like what I saw. And then when I saw that retracement there, I was just like, ooh, got to get back in. So I took profits here, 136.19. And then I took the rest of my profits here around 135.95. I still think it will bleed out, but that's just kind of how I take profits. And yeah, I like that play. So I'm going to hit the bang for that one. Got to hit that bang.
Hey.
And so really happy with that trade there. And then someone is saying Root is on fire. Thank you for that other one. And someone's saying Root is on fire. So let's see. Root? I never heard of that.
The root is on fire.
This is interesting, not necessarily something that I usually trade. I've never heard of this company before. I like the fact that it's like above that $100 level. It seems like 101 or 102 was kind of like the bounce play there. It got up to VWAP. It's kind of holding that VWAP level. And so it looks decent. I mean, it looks decent for the long, not necessarily a day trader's dream, but I mean, if you like the slow burn, you can get away with it. And so that looks pretty decent there. What else do we got here? Someone's saying short the TQQs. Let's see what we got going on there. TQQs. TQQs, yeah, this is looking...
The Katina man is short triple Q, T triple Qs right
okay,
now.
yeah. I mean, Sean, he's always cooking up something.
Oh,
and
yeah.
that looks pretty decent for the short for me. This looks like something that would be part of my play as well. Me personally,
he's cooking.
He's cooking up those hot dogs. Let's go. And so...
He's short
70?
at 70s right
Okay. Oh, yeah, that was a good price. Yeah, that was like the most ideal price. Me personally, I'm waiting for maybe the break of that 75.28. And so, hopefully that gets in there so I could hop on that bus too. But I'm going to wait a little bit and see what we do from there. How about you, Sri?
All right. I've been waiting to no end here on CHRS for that print at 103. So it looks like there's a bit of a seller here of note preventing this one from ascending. But I kind of knew that this one would be a bit of a... Well, take its sweet time because just how it's been trading, you can see it's sparsely traded. But that dollar is a respectable level. It has been holding above $1. Now, the other trade that I'm involved in right now, GME. It's dancing with the 10 exponential so far. I don't want to jinx it, but so far it's been respectful of the 10. That probably change, right? Just because I mentioned it, now it's going to breach and I'm going to get stopped out. ideally, I've layered my orders. We're looking for a break and take near the high. Obviously, I will look to take some out if it becomes parabolic, but we had issues with 50. We've been having issues with 50. We're at 50 again, and we're having issues with it again. So I've kind of gotten the feeling somebody's, either taking profits or shorting up a storm at this $0.50 area. We know the high of the day is 75 pennies on the dot. So let's watch to see if this one can continue resuming the trend. So far right now, what I see is a hammer candle on the 5-minute. Here we go. Okay, so now we're ascending a little bit into 60s. Can I get some prints, please? I'd like a couple of prints. I'm not asking for much, man. I've been waiting over here.
Give him that print.
Yeah.
The brokers are
I'm asking too aggressively, says the Katina man. He's like,
you
gotta
nicely.
Slow your roll a little bit. No, I'm kidding. You gotta exaggerate for effects today. I mean, what would we be doing over here? So I'm looking at this candle forming on the 5. I think it's got 20 seconds to close or something like that. We'll see. It's got 10 seconds to close. What I'm looking for here is a nice green candle that holds up at the 10 exponential moving average and then ideally makes a new high. That new high is going to have to come above 69s or 70s right now. Now we're having issues with 60 in the way that we had with 50, so kind of unsurprised by that. Let's see if we can continue to ascend here. I've been waiting for a print. Now we're knocking the door of my print. And I'm not getting it. So 65's basically a bit of a top over here. Well, it's a bit of the spread issue too, I think. About a 4-penny spread preventing this one from really get going and taking out that level. So here we go again into 63s, 64s. We're gonna have to cross on the bid though, in my opinion, for me to get filled. So yeah, still elusive. Is that print on GME. Trader Leia says patience. Yes, you're not wrong. You are not wrong, but sometimes you just know how these ones trade and it's in the back of your mind, and I guess really that's kind of the issue that I'm having right now, because this bad boy can drop. We know that, right? So that's the look. Guys, Lemonade is still going. Lemonade is really going here. It's about to take out 48. Some nice greenery here since 12:45, which is a better part now, 45 minutes, because it's almost 1:30. We've only got one red candle on the 5. It's been quite directional, taking out 46. Now we're talking about 48. LMN dang T. Good look for this one today. Let's see if it continues to pop without dropping. Back to GME, still no fill, topping tail into my beak wetter there, but it goes unfilled. So we're either going to get stopped out or we're going to print on this. We'll find out exactly what happens over here. Back into 60s again. Here we go with Gumma. GME, let's go, bro. All right, well, we're going to leave that one. 103, still an elusive target here on CHRS, up 24.75%, 25%. Looking for this 103, 104, and then we're going to layer into 107 on this bad boy. But really, it's just about GME and whether I get printed now, because I'd like to be able to kind of not invest so much mental capital into this name and whether I get stopped out or printed. So we'll keep an eye out on this one. Milky Way says AMD long. Don't tell that to Joe. He won't like hearing that. Advanced money destroyer, Joe calls it. Shout out to Joey Options. Here we go. Let's have a look at AMD. Yeah, AMD is at the low of the day right now. So it's a big boy sell-off. What are we down? We're down 2.25. Why are we down 2.25 on AMD? Any headlines on this bad boy? What's going on with AMD stock? It's selling off. That's what it's doing, Benzinga. Earnings report, what to know, NVIDIA dominates. Okay, it's talking about the NVIDIA report coming in and the fact that it's having really on GME over here. But nothing much to talk about. What do you guys got? Kanye East, Sharif, AMD not looking long until 130 breaks. See what it does at 129. I wasn't even going to trade it, brother. But let's have a look at. No. He brings up good points. Let's look at it. Maybe some other people want to trade it. Let's have a look at what he's saying there. Not long until 130, and then see what it does at 129. Yeah, that's a hot minute from here, because where are we at? We're at 136, so we really have to take out lows there. This is the half an hour. Let's go to the hourly. When's the last time we were at 130? Oh, it's been a hot minute since we were at 130. Look at this. Not even back in September. That was 132. I got to go back to the daily. Let's look on the daily over here. When's the last time 130 was touched? It was over here, August. I think this was Black Monday. Yeah, this is August 5th. That's Black Monday, so it recovered, obviously, from that dip. Wow. AMD was a buck, 115 bucks, eh? On Black Monday. Yeah, that's a while ago.
A deal.
Yeah, clearly, right? So yeah, 130. Okay, let me know how it goes. Obviously, I don't think we get to 130 today, Kanye East, but we'll see. We'll see. DVD R3 chiming in there saying AMD back to 90 and I'm buying. Okay, shout out to you, my man. I know that you're going to be buying up a storm there. All right, finally, we get a print on Gumma. Let's see if this runs 69s now. Now we're accumulating a little bit. I'm waiting at 75s. Here we go, 71s, 72s now. Some selling, though, as we come into that high of the day. 75 HOD, guys. So let's layer another order here. I'm going to sit at 82s because that's when I'm bored. And I like that number. So we're going to go up into here. Hopefully we get a print at 75s. If this squeezes, we're at the high of the day or we're about 4 pennies off that. Let's see if this is a double top and a big boy rejection, or we get the squeeze and maybe into 30 bucks where, you know, a lot of us are, I think, looking. So yeah, 29.70s, here 72s. Let me show me 73s. I think 73s just popped up for a hot second there on the ask. It's about a 1 or 2 penny spread, really depending on what time you're looking. So yeah, no pump right now through that $0.75 area, and there it is, nice. All right, so not that bad here. Let's see if we get 82s on Gumma, and then we'll layer some more orders if this squeezes. I just don't want to take out the entire thing in case this breaches 30 bucks, right? So that's what I'm trying to account for here. Now we're long at the $0.50, so good look. Now we've got a bit of a buffer from where we're trading and where the current where my entry is. Okay, 80s now showing up. Oh wow, that was interesting. Someone just sold off a storm. It touched 81s and then it dipped into 71 quick as you like. That's how this bad boy trades. Get ready for it. So yeah, so keeping an eye on this one. 7 3/4. We already took out the high of the day. The high, that's not correct. The high of the day there on my chart. It's got to be higher than that. Where is my memes? There we go. 80s now, high of the day, excuse me. So keep an eye out on this one, Satya. What are you doing over there?
For sure. So I was looking at that lemonade. That lemonade's blasting off. That looks
How's it
really
doing?
good. Yeah, it's doing great. It broke through like this consolidation here. You know, we were rejecting at this 46.75, rejected off of it 948, 1042, and then around 12. But then we're breaking through that kind of consolidation level, and we're going to the upside. And so that looks really good as well. So, you know, I'm going to hold off on the trades, but I feel like this is a decent setup here. And so that looks really good. Someone was also saying Tesla is above VWAP. And so you guys, you know what time it is. It's VWAP time. And so this looks pretty decent as well. I do want to see a little bit more steam there. I want to see at least 341.20, 340.50. Sorry, not 340.20, 341.20 or 341.50. And so I want to see it get up there, and hopefully we'll take this long here. But I do want to see a little bit of the action here. I was also paying attention to Google. I was convicted to get in this trade, but I think I'm going to, you know, retrace my steps on this one because I was looking at the volume, and the volume's kind of lacking on the day. It's only doing, you know, 8.2 mil out of like the 24 mil that it typically does. And so I'm not really, there's no real catalyst. You know, it is like visually the setup that I would take, but I have to take into account the volume. And so I do want to see a little bit more steam there before I do get involved. So I'm thinking that I might put my alert here around 175.23, and hopefully we might see a little bit more volume there. But the volume is a little bit of an issue. And so when I get in, I want to make sure that there's going to be other buyers, you know, buying above me. I don't want to be the person buying at that level and then it rejects, right? And so it's rejecting a little bit off of that VWAP. So I'm glad that I didn't get in there. And then what else do we got here? What are you guys looking at? We're looking at SMCI about to flush. Let's see this SMCI. Let's see here. Yeah, that SMCI is looking like, you know, it wants to break that day's low. And so we are coming in hot there. And so I do want to see what it does at this level because I don't want to see it wick off this level around 25.80. I do want to see a close below that level. I want to see at least, you know, the 5-minute close. So, you know, we have about 2 minutes before that 5-minute close. So I want to see it close below this, or I'm not convicted because it looks like we are bouncing a little bit off of that level, and you're not going to trick me. No, no, no. And so that is what I'm looking at. Our Woody guy here, he's saying Nike. He loves that Nike. You're just watching that Nike like a hawk. Let's see here. It's not really doing too much yet. I still want to see that VWAP come in or that break of that day's low, which I'm not really seeing there. What Hamza Almahai, sorry if I butchered that, but he's looking at Intel longs. So let's take a look at that here. I mean, let's see here. Let's look on the 15-minute. I don't think it's long time. I mean, if you're a type of person that tries to time the bottom, you know, maybe that's in your playbook. But me personally, I don't, you know, like to put too much stock into one candle, as, you know, Sharif likes to say all the time. And so I think that is, you know, very true. And so we want to wait for more confirmation there. I feel like you don't get more confirmation until we kind of see the break of this 2374. And why am I looking at this? Well, I think that it's kind of a pivotal level that we need to look at, because this was kind of a point where in the morning it was kind of a point of support, right? And so I like the support kind of, the rejection, the support kind of turn into, I guess in this case it would be support turning into support. But that's what I'm looking at. This is kind of the level that I'm looking at, just because it was a support level in the morning. We did reject off of it, you know, at 12:55. But I think if it does get up there, that is kind of the pivotal point in the change in trend structure that I'd want to see. I'd want to see what it does there. But then again, VWAP really is my key indicator that I'm looking at. But I think that if we do see some more buying coming in at that price, 23.75, then I think that gives me a little bit more steam, maybe add a little bit here, and then as it crosses VWAP, potentially then adding there as well, and then getting in more of my size at that level. Let's see what we got here. Someone saying QCOM short. Let's see what it's done since I got out of that trade. Yeah, it's still looking like, you know, there's not a lot of buyers on this. It's still struggling a little bit. I like the fact that it broke below this 154 mark, and we still are kind of going down strong. And so this looks still decent for the short. I don't think anything's wrong with that. If you're, you know, looking to kind of get your way in there, I like to look on the 15-minute and kind of see the gap between the market price and this 9 EMA level. So possibly if you are, you know, a little bit scared to get in at this market price, maybe you can get it on the way up around 154.60, and hopefully there is a rejection off of that 9 EMA level. But I think this looks pretty decent for the short. How about you, Sharif?
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about the NVIDIA earnings, because I think that's what a lot of people are waiting for. So let's load up. Oh, yeah, so we can do that first, right, Ram? Okay, so we shall pay some bills first, and then we will talk about said earnings. Or what are we doing? eSignal. All right, guys, here it is. eSignal, a platform that lets you trade smarter, not harder. This is a chance to upgrade to that elite trading experience that'll let you analyze, strategize, and hopefully after all that, you'll be able to capitalize, right? By foreseeing those profitable opportunities with the platform that you need, you get a bunch of stuff. You get infinite data. You get instant trading. You get to know where the market is moving before others with that lightning fast data and execution. And people also really compliment the charts on eSignal. Some people would say it's got charts that change a game. It lets you customize and analyze markets faster and in your way. And we all know a proper trading plan requires sound backtesting. That's what you get here. You get better backtesting, you get better scanning, and it'll help you predict the future by definitely understanding the past. You get reliable real-time data up to the second market information from hundreds of global markets. It's literally everything you need all in one place. So don't miss a beat. Get on over and execute your best trades now. If you're ready to elevate your trading, scan that QR code on the bottom right of your screen, or go on down to the description of this video and click that link. Shout out to the good folks there at eSignal. Can't wait for that. Set up the platform. They gave me an account, but I still haven't set it up yet, Ram, which is dragging my feet on that. I don't know why. Right? So let's have a look here at Market Chameleon. I've showed you guys this this website in the past. Ram, it is free. You just go to Market Chameleon. You can sign in with your Google account or create an account with them. Let's go on over to the calendar, the earnings calendar that is, and we'll change the time of the day to after market. And then we got our friend there, NVD dang A. Look at that options volume. That's an eye-watering 2 million contracts. And this is delayed data, like, dude, it's probably more than that now. 2 million contracts, options contracts, that is, being wagered, bet, I don't know, instituted in anticipation of this earnings report. What I'm really showing you this for is this data point right here, the expected move. So this is, oh, wow. This is plus or minus the expected move there. Yeah, I got stopped out. Good. Of GameStop's flushing, guys, big time into that drop. $29 right now. Let's see if this one holds up. GameStop at $29, big time flush there on GameStop. So what I really want to show you was this right here, the expected move, 8.7%. That's plus or minus, right? So you can either be above or below the current price by 8.7%. Now, one thing that Danielle Shea, a great options trader, would always say is, keep your eye on whether you remain within or without the expected move, because it makes a difference about whether you can mean reverse. So here's what I mean. So if we range, whether north or south of the price, within that 8.7%, we can definitely have a bounce back or drop down, depending on what direction we went originally. However, when you breach that expected move, say it moves 9.5%, 10%, top or bottom, north or south is what I mean, then the chances of you reverting back become exponentially less. So keep your eye on the move. Obviously, it's moving very fast in the aftermarket, and the calculations are sometimes hard to do, but that is the expected move for this bad boy. Last time around, as you can see here, it dipped into 6.4%. But we know, obviously, just by looking historically, we breached all the levels since that time. We printed all-time highs. Palo Alto Networks also reporting after the bell. This is my second biggest position in the long-term account. It's a stock. Not necessarily I believe in the company, but I believe in the sector, okay? I think that, cybersecurity is just here to stay, especially with more belligerencies now between countries. I think one of the main ways we're going to attack each other in the future is cyber attacks, quite frankly. It's already happening. So Pandub in focus today. Some decent options volume there for this one. The last move was 7.2% to the upside. This time, the expected move, 8.4% plus or minus. Snowflake as well. Let's put some respect on this one's name. Another cloud/cybersecurity name. This one dropped big, 14.7% last time. This time, a big boy expected move as well, 11.7% for Snowflake. So keep your eye on that one. That reports after the bell with Neil. We all know Neil's doing the aftermarket or the market recap show today. So good look there. Okay, finally, Chris. Chris giving me something to be happy about over here. Okay, Chris. Nice. Now we'll take out some more shareage here if it allows us. We got into this name for that dollar bump and defend. It does hold up above the dollar. Let's see now if we can print at 6s and 7s and not what you British people think or say 6s and 7s for. I love that. You ever hear that expression?
No.
I'm at 6s and 7s?
No.
It means like I'm screwed up. Yeah,
oh,
that's
really?
how British people say
I've never heard of that.
Yeah,
before.
you never heard that
No.
before? Yeah, it's very British. There's a lot of stuff that they say like that, detergent is not in their vocab. It's wash up liquid.
Yeah, and you're even like, is it?
Car
Do
park.
we say pop or do they?
Oh, that's soda.
So-
I think that's the States though, right?
Oh.
States say soda and pop. Yeah. I know where you're going with that. But the British say some more different stuff than us. Anyway, so looking for Chris here to take out those highs. GameStop is still going down though, guys. Here we go. Let's have a look at Gumma. It's really bleeding now, dropping well below that $29 area. Big boy drop. Let's see what it does at VWAP. VWAP 28 2/3% on my chart. I'm not going to have a resting order there, but I'm going to be all eyes and ears to see whether or not we hold up at 28.75, 28 2/3. The Piper. I'm not saying you guys don't have detergent. I'm just saying you guys don't call it detergent, right? Because when I went into Sainsbury's, when I went into Morrison's or Asda, and I asked for detergent, I just got a blank stare. Like, it's like going to the States and saying washroom. It's like they have no idea what you're talking about there. You got to say bathroom or toilet, Otherwise, just a blank stare. Restroom. Yeah, you can say restroom as well, Fabian. You just can't say washroom. They're like, huh? even what's his name? Raider Trader. When I said washroom to him, he's like, yeah, it's a nice word, right? It's like he'd never heard it before. So, washing liquid, says Miss Lucia. Yes, my bad. I said wash up liquid, washing liquid. My mistake there. Leave us British alone, says Stuart Lonsdale. It's all love, my man. I lived in Leicester for a couple of years. University of Leicester alum, man. So I got a lot of love for your country. Obviously, my favorite soccer team, Arsenal, North London. So I got nothing bad to say about the UK. I'm just, just pointing out some stuff, that's all.
No, that's kind of this is like kind of off topic, but a funny story was when I went to the States, I didn't know that poutine was kind of just a Canadian thing.
Oh yeah, they got no idea.
Yeah, and so I went to Burger King and I'm like, can I get a poutine? And they're like, chili fries? And I'm like, no, poutine with the gravy and the cheese. And they
got no idea. No. Well, like the foodies do, right?
Yeah.
If you're a foodie, because then you've probably seen stuff online, whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, most people, they got no idea. I'm not saying that, Fabian. You're going to get me canceled, bro. Fabian's trying to get me canceled. What a guy. Let's see what people are saying in the chat. Oh, by the way, guys, I got to remind you to vote, man. We almost have 1,000. We're 3 short of 1,000, guys. The afternoon rundown now is decided by you, but in a bit of a different way, right? We're going to throw on one poll in the beginning of the show, the first half from 11 to 12:30. Then 12:30 comes along. We'll throw on a new poll with 4 new tickers. We'll take the top 3 from one and the top 2 from the other. So right now we've got a nice 3-horse race going on here, Satea. Not that much different. They're all around that 25% here. We got GME, and rightfully so, with 28%. Meta the Monster at 25%. And Coin, let's put some respect on this one's name, 29% for Coin, obviously with Bitcoin making all-time highs as we speak, I believe, or earlier anyway. And then Donald John Trump at that 19 in last place. They're not doing a whole lot today. So make sure, please, you are voting. Nice. We're well above 1,000. I think we were at 1,400 for the other one. You guys are killing it with the voting. You guys are putting in the votes, and we could not be more grateful for that. Obviously, voting does help the channel. And it also helps us organize the afternoon rundown to make it more focused for the stuff that you guys want, right? Because before, when you guys were voting, we got a lot of votes, but they were just so distributed. We didn't have any concentration of votes, so we want to narrow it down a little bit. And I think this is working out well. So please vote if you can. And it's super easy. Just weasel on there into the chat, and it should be at the top of the screen. So GameStop, Satea, breaking VWAP as we speak. Not a good look. So we kind of knew that this was coming, the mean reversion trade. The reversion trade can be mean, as the OB, he is the one, Kanob always says. Now we're breaching. Let's see, are we still breaching? Because it's not updating. Yeah, we're still below it, 28.5 right now, where VWAP is 28 2/3. So the blood continuing to spill here on GME. Let's see. Oh, we still didn't get this print. How long am I going to wait here, Chris? Like, he's making forever. Anyway, waiting for a print on Chris. I know. Chris. My goodness. Let's see what people are talking about there in the chat. Hamza. Can you look at BA? Sure. Absolutely. Let's have a look at what Boeing is up to today. So this is what a great looking chart on Boeing. Wow, look at that double bottom though. And I put an alert there, eh? You see, I put that alert at 125. I'm buying up a storm at 125. Look at that double bottom.
That's clean. That's
right?
hella clean.
So if this is going to come down, I'm at least go for a swing, and then you can kind of give it the lows right there. So this is the daily on Boeing. Let's have a look at the 5. So very consolidative, Hamza. I mean, like, brother, the closing print yesterday was 145.60. So where are we right now with Boeing? Let me just update the chart. Excuse me for a second while I update it there. BA. Okay. Well, we're a little bit above it. So it looks like we're defending generally yesterday's closing print. Now, you are getting these wicks that are breaching it. And look at this. Every single wick that breaches today, or that breaches, the closing print at 145.60, seems to find support at the 200 exponential moving average on the 5. Now, that's not a moving average that I almost ever use intraday. It's more reserved for the swing or the long term. But the 200, for whatever reason, featuring today on the 5. So, It looks like a sound wave, though, Hamza, in the sense that there's no discernible trend. Maybe that 145.60, if you can get anything off that, and then maybe ride it in a VWAP or something. But yeah, Boeing ain't for me today. Let's have a look at the 4-hour. Maybe you're asking about a swing. It's a tough look, Hamza, man. I mean, it continues to bleed, brother. I think it's going to be a hot minute before we can report some good news for this company. We'll see. We'll see. Yeah, I'm not touching Boeing today, and if anything, it's a continued short. I've got nothing positive to say, sadly, about this company. What are you looking at today?
For sure. So I was trying to get involved in an NVIDIA short. What I was looking at was its kind of relation to like the QQQs. It kind of had like a similar kind of action here. If I could pull it up here. So yeah, I saw that there was kind of like a consolidation between like VWAP, and so I was looking at that, and so we'll just put it kind of side by side. And I thought that I was looking at the QQQs, and I was like, this looks pretty similar. And so I was trying to follow the same kind of trend that it was doing. I got in around 144.18, which I feel like was a little bit too early. But it is coming on its way down, but I don't know, we'll have to see it because it is bouncing. I was looking at the tape and I was seeing a lot of buying happening at that 20 cent mark, 144.20, and so I was just like, I don't know. So I jumped out for a little bit of a loss, but it seems like it is coming down there, and so, you know, I'm not afraid to jump out and jump back in, and so if that allows me to kind of keep my wrist tight, and so that's what I'm kind of looking at in terms of NVIDIA, just because the QQQs were dropping a little bit there. Someone is saying dip by GME. Let's take a look. Let's take a look here. GME. So yeah, looking at that GME, I mean, I really want to see that hold of that VWAP level. It is coming in there. We do see this wick around 28.45. I'm still not convicted yet until I see at least 2 15-minute candles closing above that VWAP level. Because, you know, it is making that bounce, which I love to see, but I want to make sure that it's holding at that level and it doesn't just like kind of make this kind of false wick, get up to the 9 EMA and then continue down. I really want to see it hold, and it seems like it's doing so, but I want to make sure that it does it on a longer kind of time frame. I want to see that next 15-minute candle close, and that's going to happen in about 9 minutes there. Someone is saying, look at DJT. Let's see what's going on there. DJT, it's not really doing much, to be honest. I see a lot of like consolidation action here. If this would load, come on, load a little bit. From what I can see, it's just consolidating between the day's low as well as VWAP, which doesn't really necessarily give me a directional trade. I mean, I would, in this case, be looking for like the break of the day's low, but in this case, I'm not really seeing the volume that's giving me enough conviction to really look for that right now. And so I don't think that this is a play for me as of yet, just because that consolidation really just has been going on since 10 a.m. and it's now, you know, bucking 2 p.m. And so I don't really like that. What else do we got here? Someone's saying Tesla.
We're getting a VWAP bounce, by the way, on GameStop, guys. So be on the lookout for that.
For sure. What else do we got here? Tesla. Tesla did reject off of VWAP here around 142, and so it is looking like it's on the downside there. We did try to break above VWAP. I thought that we may see a hold there. That's why I set an alert rather than like trying to get involved there, but it seems like we're breaking down a little bit. So yeah, looking good for the short. I like the fact that it's trailing this 9 EMA on the 3-minute. If I look on the 5-minute, it's still kind of doing that same curling action. And so I want to see the break of this 337.13. I think that that's something that is very interesting. And if it could break there, I think that the continuation of the short is in play. How about you, Sharif?
I'm keeping my eye here on Chris. I've been waiting for a hot minute to get printed at 7s. We've already taken 3 beak wetters there, 3, 4, 6s, and I'm waiting for 7s. I'm going to leave the last out for the high of the day break at 9s. So CHRS up almost 30%. Very clean defend of $1. Very clean. And it did it the entire afternoon. Since it took the dollar at 11.20, it hasn't breached that level. So, you know, and that's why I always say this is a different trade north and south of $1. This is kind of what I mean. Not all of them end up manifesting like this, though. Sometimes you get a zig and zag, like it breaches $1 by a healthy amount, drops quick as you like that, and you end up holding the bag. So sometimes it's a bit of a tougher look. Right now, though, is not one of those cases. But the thing is, I don't know. I thought I was first in priority by posting my order out on, I think I'm on ARCA, which, you know, some people call ARCA the Wild West. I think ARCA, you get good fills. That's what people used to tell, I mean, especially, yeah, well, I'll tell you after. Anyway, so 107 is where I've been waiting, and I thought maybe I've had that order out for the better part of 45 minutes. I'd be first in priority, but I'm not, because I can see prints coming in on the tape at 7s. I'm not getting printed. So I'll have to wait for that and see exactly what comes from that. So anyway, GameStop's bounce at VWAP continues to go. So good look here for GME as it, look, it didn't defend cleanly, the VWAP, but the closing prints did. And here's what I mean by that. So sometimes when you're gauging a level, you forget that it can wick and then it can close above that level. And this is what I mean. Look at this. The closing print on the red candle on this inverse hammer candle above VWAP, despite the fact that it breached it by about 25 pennies. Then, subsequent to that, the green candle opens up above VWAP, and then the most operative part here is it's a first 5-minute candle to make a new high after 4 very, very red candles that hold up at a nice area. So let's see if we can take 29, okay? So 29, whole dollar level, possible psychological resistance, yada, yada, yada. We did defend off, or we did reject, I should say, off 29 multiple times on our way up. 1205 reject, 1225 reject, 1230 reject. Then we broke and took it finally at 45 after the hour. But I'm going to keep my eye to see if we can make a couple of green candles here to make a new high, or a couple of green candles in a row, and not just one perfunctory green candle over here. So I'm keeping my eye on this one. There's only 5 minutes left on the show, so you're not going to see me weasel into this trade because it's going to require more than that. But that's the look right there on GME, and I know a lot of eyes are on it. Let's see how the poll is going. So we had about 1,400, a little bit more vote on the first one. How many do we have now? About 1,100. I think you guys can do a bit better than that, man. Let's. How are we doing on the list? Who's winning here? Coinbase is winning by 1% over GameStop. The Katina man, yeah, shout out to the Katina man. He won Coinbase, he got it, and it's leading right now. So GME, 1 measly percentage behind Coinbase, and they're all apt, I would say. I mean, Bitcoin making all-time highs. Brian Armstrong going to meet the Donald very soon. Who knows whether or not he plays a part in the upcoming admin. So that's obviously in focus. And then DJT last over here, at 19%. But it's a nice 3-horse race. About 1,100 of you guys now have voted. I'm not sure how the voting goes down. Like, how is it possible that you can't even retract your vote? So sometimes I look over and it like drops a little bit, which is funny. Come on, YouTube, you can do better than that. Let's have a look over here and see what we're doing with GameStop. Still hanging out below 29. Okay, pack our patience on that one. No print still on Chris. Fine. Okay, everything's fine. No problem there. Any final thoughts you have as we got like about 4 or 3 minutes left?
Yeah, I was looking at NVIDIA. I did try to take a stab at it again, and to be honest, I think that this is just me being stubborn now. It's not doing what I wanted to do. I got in at the same price that I did before, 144.18, and then I was just still seeing that 20 print on the tape, and so I got to give it up. You got to know, when to stop, and so I saw it once, I saw it twice, and I'm not going to give it an Obi thrice this time. No. I'm sorry, Obi, but you know what? Yeah, we don't have a lot of time on the show, so not anything too crazy there. But looking at Mara seems like it's trying to get to the upside there. I was a little bit worried about it because it did retrace, from those highs at 23.50, then it went to 22.73, but it's looking like it's trekking its way up, and I like the fact that it's breaking through this 22.89, which is kind of a local high around 11 a.m. And so, that's looking really good as well, and so nothing too crazy there. Flipping through GME, GME is making that bounce off of VWAP, so that looks really good. We want to see kind of that break of that 9 EMA, a close above there, and if I see that, then I would be a little bit more convicted, for the continuation of the long. But if it does just reject off of this 9 EMA on the 5, then I'm not really liking that. And if it crosses VWAP again and even crosses this wick here, that seemed like a support level here, 28.40, then I would be a little bit worried for the continuation of this trade for the long side.
I'm about to show it to you. So, okay, so my car's a Jag, and I happen to love my car, okay? but I don't happen to love the rebranding of Jaguar. What is going on, Jaguar? I need answers.
What's going on?
Are we not allowed to show this? Oh, we're not sure. Okay. Well, it's on YouTube. Yeah. Oh, I see. Okay. Well, yeah. No worries. Okay. Well, we're not sure if we'll get deducted or docked, I should say. So we'll leave that one. Okay. So I'll wax poetic about that later. In any event, yeah, Jaguar is redesigning their logo and it's hideous. And I have no idea what's going on there or who the hell they're trying to appeal to. It's certainly not me. I can promise you that. But with that little look over there. So that's the thing is about Jaguar too, they want to flip to all EVs. They wanted to be all EVs by 25, then they figured that wasn't a realistic thing. So they've now kind of just stopped selling cars for a couple of years. It's like, yeah, okay, that's not going to damage your brand at all. Everything's fine. So that's what Jaguar's doing over there, and I just wanted to share that with you guys. But I don't think we're going to be able to do that, nor do we have enough time. In any event, I think we have got about 10 seconds left on the show. Thank you guys so much for your input today. We got over 1,150 people voting. Let's see who won this race. Oh, it was very close, and it still is Coinbase by a hair, 29% above its competitor there, GME with 28%. Third comes in Meta, and then DJT coming in dead last there with a healthy 19%. And we shall see you guys very soon. Oh, there it is. Yeah. See, that's not what I wanted to show, Fabian, because that's not too much of a fundamental change from the current logo. It was the commercial I wanted to show. The commercial was very interesting, to say the least. You're going to be on Friday, so we'll see you on. You're going to have a hot lesson. It's always a surprise, so get your pens and papers handy. Sate is going to surprise us with that lesson, but until then, we'll see you guys tomorrow with Joseph. Same bat time, same bat channel. Take it over, Big Kahunas.
Same bat time, same
takeover
mode. Why not? Look, the market is obviously making some moves back into the downside. We got two